Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McGrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod show.
All right, Anaheim is behind us, and the series is off to San Francisco. Supercross is here. This is the Vital MX MotoXpod show presented by Racetech and Yamaha Motor USA, and we've got a stellar show lined up tonight. We've got Red Bull Factory KTM's Aaron Plessinger, Monster Energy, Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Levi Kitchen, and Twisted Tea, Progressive Insurance, Hep Suzuki's Kyle Chisholm, all on the phone. But most exciting, we have a very special in-studio guest. I think this is the first time we've had a professional rider in studio. PRMX Kawasaki's Cade Clason in studio, Vital MX.
Yeah.
What's up, Cade?
Yeah, we're here. Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for coming. It was a long drive.
Long drive.
A lot of Southern California traffic, but
Always.
you're here.
It's fine. It's all good.
Love it.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks to ML for getting me in the house, but we're here.
Awesome. And also in studio, running the cameras and the YouTube chat, Vital MX's Michael Lindsay. What's up, ML?
I don't know how I inherited this job.
Because you weren't willing to fly Scotty out here.
This is true.
I mean, he offered. He told me, "Hey, man, if you need me, I'll come out
every week, back and forth." That would be life right there. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. The show's been going this long, and Cade is the first in studio pro rider.
You know,
Didn't you have
Steve likes to say I live like in bumfuck,
You kinda do.
Texas. There's a lot of people where I live, but it's a long way from airport. So, yeah, I mean, we have to come off with some money.
On one side, we did pick a very glorious weekend for Cade to be here. I don't know if anybody watched the race this weekend, but
I'm just
this
doing
man beat Hunter Lawrence to the main event.
Handedly.
Easily.
Easily is a strong word.
I don't know if Hunter's even a race this weekend. He was just broken.
Yeah.
Like, he ran it in on Cade, and Cade said, buddy. No, let me show you how this is done. This is the 450 class, baby.
You think Hunter knew who I was when I was in front of him?
He knows who you are now.
He went back and looked at the time sheets and then wandered around the pits.
He's like, who the hell is this guy,
He went to Lars and said, why don't you hire him?
Didn't you have Grant on the show one time? Didn't he come down?
No, I don't think Grant's ever been in studio because I live too far. I asked him to come in, and we'll probably make that happen eventually. But it's 2.5 hours for him.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you for having me. It is.
It took this long because I didn't know who you were until recently.
That's fair.
You know the history of us.
I do.
I don't know if you know ML, but I got introduced to him early on in my media career, quote unquote. And every time I would pass him, I just never saw him. And he'd be like, "Yeah, man, like I'm right here."
Dark says,
Yeah.
Everybody says you're a man of the people. Apparently not.
Apparently not Cade.
Not Cade.
He just walks right on by every time.
Let me tell you about Racetech. Racetech is the world's largest aftermarket motorcycle suspension modification company. They have over 35 years of experience providing factory-level suspension to the everyday rider. They also are known for building a reliable, world-class engine requires a combination of state-of-the-art equipment and experienced, knowledgeable technicians. Racetech provides quality precision engine services using the best equipment processes in the industry. Cade, you've ran Racetech stuff over the years.
Oh, a long time.
Yeah? What do you think about it? I mean, why do you like it? What sets it apart for a privateer like yourself?
You know, I think there's a lot of companies out there that can make good suspension now, but it's fun to work with people that care about you. And like, you know, I know Rob and Wyatt and Czech and all those guys over there, and they had been a big part of my career for a long time. So yeah, they're just great people that I love to work with.
Awesome. Love it. How's Team PRMX this year? Back on the team?
Back on the team, man. We're loving life. We slimmed down a little bit. There's only 4 of us now.
Hey,
I
quality
thought you meant physically.
over quantity.
Yeah, I thought you meant like you slimmed down.
No, dude, I can't get no skinnier.
You're looking pretty sexy though.
I appreciate it. But it's good, man. It's been fun. We've have like a good atmosphere right now. Well, really right now it's just me, Mitchell, and Yoder.
Yeah.
But we've been doing our motos together and just putting in work. And you know, I think it's going to show. You know, I think I rode pretty good at A1. Hunter rode pretty good. I don't think either of us kind of lived up to our expectations. But then, like, Mitchell's been riding really well and he didn't quite show up at A1. I don't, but man, if he would just ride on a Saturday like he rode the last couple days we've ridden together, man, it'll be something special.
I'll say poor Mitchell was a 450 sub after we finally saw the video of Tonti basically blitzing whoops on his nutsack for like 8 whoops in a row.
Yeah.
Hey, I would normally say hitting Supercross whoops takes balls, but in this case, it took it to a whole new level.
Losing balls, maybe.
That video is next, and I'm surprised it took as long to come out as it did.
Sometimes.
I mean, I was there the day he crashed, and I was sitting at we have like a trailer out by the tracks at SOB for the team, and I heard the crash, and I ran out onto the track, and he's just laying there gasping for air. His bike is just mangled, dude. I mean, everything is bent, and he's fine. He gets up, goes back, he's fine, and we're like, oh my God, dude, this dude is superhuman. And Visor,
zombie?
Yeah, and Visor got it on video. Everyone watched it. I was like, I'm not watching that. It wasn't 5 hours later. It was in my group chat with my friends. And I'm like, dude, I haven't even seen it yet. Like, how have you guys gotten it? And, of course, then I watched it. And, it took, until basically A1 to come out. And he crashed the middle of December. So he had tried to ride a couple times, and it just wasn't quite right. And finally he got an MRI, and they could see, like, inside of his shoulder, and that's where the crack was. So
Gotcha.
A little bit of a bummer, but, we're still going strong here.
It was funny. Julian named off the bone that he broke, and I looked at him, and I asked him 3 times what the hell bone he was talking about. He just kept laughing. He's like, you don't know what it is? I'm like, no, please explain.
You want to know what's even crazier is when he got hurt in Abu Dhabi, they plated his broken rib.
Really?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of that?
No, but it sounds awesome.
And I'm like, I said this to him. I'm like, dude, you're lucky they plated that thing, because that thing for sure would have been rebroke.
Oh, yeah.
In that crash, because it was violent.
Can I just get plates on all my ribs,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah,
I was just thinking with
Can
as
I pay
many
for that
like
ahead of
punctured lungs as I have, just plate them so that quits happening maybe.
Well, knowing your luck, then the plate's going through.
Yeah, that's probably be worse.
Exactly. So.
I mentioned Scotty a minute ago. Scotty may be in the YouTube chat, so if you guys are in the YouTube chat, hopefully he's communicating with you guys. He said he's going to try to be in there tonight. So, yeah, hope the YouTube guys are enjoying their conversation. Cade, we joked about the LCQ, 4th place in the LCQ, beating Hunter Lawrence, but honestly, just what did you think about A1 as a whole? 2 sets of whoops, monster double in the middle of the track. We're going to talk about your experience in the whoops in a minute, but just overall, how was the weekend for you?
I liked the track. I think the first rhythm section, like right out of the start, that rhythm didn't work out the way they wanted it to. But other than that, I thought the track was a lot of fun. It was a little mellow. All those, berms across the start straight weren't awesome, but like that long rhythm and then those 2 sets of whoops were just so fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, that rhythm was really fun. It was relatively safe for going 3-4-4. Or 4-3-3-1.
Sure.
For some of those people out there.
Or 2-2-2 for Phil Nicoletti at times.
I don't know. Or everybody's arguing what a quad is and what isn't these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you're Jet, you just go 3-4-5 on press day.
That was sick. But
yeah, I heard Honda actually told him to back it down.
All I know is his first time hitting it, he tagged it so bad the second time. you'd never hear Jet rev it.
Yeah.
That bike was wide. That HRC bike was wide open midair
when
he went to set into that.
But like it just the way the track like broke in, it worked good. So I had a good time. I ended up riding good in the LCQ, got a good start. So it just kind of worked out, right? It's gonna take cards to fall in your favor to be like a guy like me and in the main event right now, just with how deep it is. So
the class is deep,
and it's not like there's a ton of factory guys. Like there's like 16 or something. But like all the privateers, there's like so many good privateers right now that like it could have been any of us to make it in. And I'm just, it's cool that it was me.
Yeah, and it's a better start than last year because you did not make the main at A1 last year, did you?
No, I crashed in the LCQ last year.
So we're on the road to.
Well, it's funny.
Start.
Somebody tweeted me and just says like I'm the welcome message to the 450 class. Like I cleaned out A-Mart in his first 450 LCQ, and then now Hunter, and it's just like apparently I'm just the guy.
Yeah,
I'm just the guy to create the.
You got to be known for something.
I guess so.
Let's talk about your trip through the whoops. I guess you're putting in a resume for Dig Dugs. with Feld. I mean, what was your thought when you crashed in the whoops and you decided to put the tough block back in place?
Well, I just
don't want to get back on the bike.
That was the I feel so bad that I forgot to bring that up on the pod show because I watched you do it, and I'm like, I have to remember that Cade went through the effort of putting the damn tough block back. It also didn't help that your bike had derailed the biggest tough block ever, that weird 5-part monster one there. Hey, the frustration on the Dig Dug's face for the next couple laps as they tried to put that together was so worth it.
Yeah. I don't really know. I was all by myself. I wasn't really riding that well in the main. I was making mistakes and all this crap. And I was sticking with the skim line just because that's what I've been training, and I want to skim the whoops when they're tough. And I caught an edge, and as soon as I caught it, the front end went like leaning me to the left, and I just went straight into that giant tough block. And you know what's crazy? I plowed into it at 30 miles an hour, and my bike never even hit the ground. So, I mean, my bike.
You were glad it was there?
Yeah, exactly. I was comfy, like everything happened, but I was not far away from getting lapped. I think I was at like 9 minutes or something when I crashed. And I was getting up. I think I saw Jet going into the first set of whoops. And I turned around, and there's a tough block laying like right in the main line. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to grab it. And I grabbed it and set it down, and I'm picking my bike up, and those guys are going by. And I'm just like, I don't want to be, I know how shitty it is to like hit a tough block, and I don't want to like create chaos for the leader. So I was like, just try to do something nice. And the worst part is when I'm picking my bike up, I go to flip my bike so I could get onto the track. I hit another tough block, and it flew into the other set of wheels.
Did not see that.
And I was like, well, I'm just going to leave that one and go.
ML, how great would it be that he keeps Hunter Lawrence from making the main, and then if he had taken out Jet with the tough block.
And somebody would have burned down our semi for sure.
That would have been the end of everything. Do you want to hear the worst thing I heard this weekend in the press box? The person who said shall remain nameless, but after Hunter didn't make it, they looked over and said, well, I guess there's a new option in the Lawrence Brothers VIP experience. You get to watch the main event with Hunter. Hopefully that's not a regular
That's
thing.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
I feel bad. I almost pissed my pants off. I was like, that's good.
That's funny. But, yeah, not an ideal situation for him.
All right, I want to thank our other presenting sponsor, Yamaha Motor USA, a reputation for dominance. It doesn't happen overnight. It's built over decades. The YZ story is 50 years of iconic machines and groundbreaking innovations. Yamaha's new 50th anniversary edition YZ pays tribute to a half-century of championship-winning performance wrapped in stunning retro style. Check them out at YamahaMotorsports.com. I got to ride mine for the first time yesterday at Glen Helen. I like it. I really like it.
Blue, well, I was going to say blue crew, but you're
purple
actually
crew?
white crew. Yeah,
purple,
crew, white crew,
purple, pink, and white.
Crew,
I sent a picture to
crew.
my 14-year-old stepdaughter. I was like, what do you think of these colors? She said, ooh, I like it. I was like,
hey, it's so retro. It's cool again.
Yeah, man. I know we're FXR, but I really wish I had my O'Neill pants from 1990 that were the fluorescent or whatever, blue on one leg and pink on the other, and then reverse on the back. It fit perfect with
You
it.
need to get the one like Amart, or sorry, not Amart, Jesus. I see the 26, I just think of Amart.
Garrett?
But the one Garrett and the guys are wearing kind of goes with
that stuff looked good.
It did. Actually, I got a question for you, Cade. So speaking of that first rhythm lane, I've been wondering this. I watched that all night. Did you ever ask the Dig Dug anybody, like, what the heck was that, the one after the start?
The step-up table thing?
In the Premier World, what was that thing supposed to be? What were they hoping it was going to turn into?
They built that at like Dirtworks built a track at Club, a track at Star,
yeah,
and somewhere else. And they built that same. Even Eli has one on his track, and I think it's supposed to be like. I think they wanted you to be able to jump up onto it and then jump off of You know how we were wheeling up onto it?
Yeah.
I think they wanted us to jump up and then jump off of it and then go 3-1. But like how they built it, the next two singles, like they were so mellow and like we couldn't do anything. So I think it was meant to be like, jump on, jump off of it, or like jump up on top of it and then step off of it. Because like in the first few practices when we were just like single tabling it, it was miserable.
Yeah.
Like
did you feel lame? Just literally.
Yeah, I mean it was just like, let's just do like this 5-foot tabletop and then double and then sometimes triple out. Like it was so squirrely.
The seat bounce triple, especially for the 250s, was funny. Did you ever do the inside line where you rolled and then like jumped across the start straight and tried to land on the table? Or?
Yeah, I didn't think it like was faster. I would rip like the bottom of the berm and like jump the double out as far as I could, land, wheelie, and then like manual up onto it. And I thought that was super fast. And I actually, in the LCQ and in my practice, had the fastest segment time through there. So I have a leg to stand on there. I have a leg to stand on there. So, I mean, it was an 8-second segment, and I beat Prado in my practice, and I beat Hunter Lawrence in the LCQ. So I have at least a little bit of wiggle room there.
You said, this is the reason why I beat Hunter to a main event.
Because I was wheeling on this stupid tabletop. This 6-inch tall tabletop crushed it.
I feel like he probably went back.
The vet jump, the vet obstacle.
I feel like he went back to SOB this week and just purposely probably tried to well, no, you're out here this week.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Oh, we're here.
That's why he's here, dude.
Just shoot me now. I was going to say, are you just going to purposely find everything to wheelie on now because that's your thing?
Dude, you know what's funny is, so Yoder and I are obviously teammates, and Yoder can do wheelies and stoppies like better than Kevin Windham.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on.
Dude, I'm not even
No,
kidding.
he can. It's pretty ridiculous.
He'll slow wheelie into a fast wheelie, and then he'll set the front down and just ride the front wheel. And like he'll nose wheelie.
Kind of makes me mad.
He'll wheelie up onto the side of a jump, nose like drop the front end, nose wheelie in like a 180, 360. It's so cool. And
But can he skim a pond?
No.
I feel like, wait, you just said that like that's been tested.
No, I mean, I don't know.
Let's say SOB. We got pond skimming competition. Just
We're short a bike right now.
Yeah. But I can't do stoppies. And it was like the most comical thing of all time because I was trying to do stoppies.
And you were like just barely even.
I was like sometimes getting my rear wheel off the ground. And I was like, oh, okay, we're done. I'm embarrassing myself now.
I can't do any of that. I can ride a wheelie like for 3 seconds fast, and then, that's it.
At least now, if you're screwing around with him and he gives you shit for it, just be like, did you beat Hunter Lawrence to a main event? That could be your answer to so many things now.
So many things now. Yeah, I guess you're not
I would
wrong.
use and abuse that so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something I'd put on my resume for sure.
Put it on your Instagram bio. For the week.
I mean, you have more points currently this season than he does.
That's great. That's
things that should be added to riders' Instagram bios this week. I beat Hunter Lawrence to a main event, and anybody that got freeze this weekend should put I got freeze.
You also have more points than Phil Nicoletti on the 250 team. So
that's a good point.
Hey, how great is it, though, that we switched the point structure this year to last place in a main event is 0 points, and the first person to ever make a main event and get 0 points is now Phil Nicoletti.
Well, of course
it couldn't be more befitting of a person.
But it used to be that way. Like 21st and 22nd was 0.
Yeah.
But like that was dumb too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
I can't believe I thought they were just going to do 1 and 1. Like, F it. Just give the last 2 place guys each first. Like, it's the biggest slap in the face. It gets to that point where, because of Steve's competition, I would rather get 5th in LCQs now.
1,000%.
Because at least you qualify for the race.
That's back on, by the way, for anybody that hasn't
he actually
listened.
posted about earlier this year, which I'm stoked on, so that's up and going.
Mm-hmm.
A race, I'm sure, Cade, that's got to be a tough one. A race you want to be a part of, but a race you don't want to be a part of.
Yeah, it's tough to not get to, if you don't get to do it, because it's like, dude, I feel like I would do pretty good, and there's a lot of money on the line, but at the same time, it's like, I really want to be in these mains and scoring points and all this stuff, so it's tough. My problem last year was every time I didn't make the main, I got like 20th, 21st, or 22nd in the LCQ.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't have any points.
Sure.
So I was like, shit out of luck. And then finally, like, when someone got hurt, he called me. I was like, yes. Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll
the
take
best
it.
part is, guess who's leading the LCQ challenge points? Hunter Lawrence.
Yes.
Factory.
I got a feeling
Team
he's
Honda.
not.
Team Honda HRCs.
I got a feeling he will not be in that race.
No.
Hey, I want to remind everybody, MotoXpodshow@gmail.com. That's email if you want to send in your picks of the week or your procs, highs and lows, etc. Questions, comments, criticisms, top fives, anything like that. MotoXpodshow@gmail.com. And I want to remind everybody that Vital MX now has a fantasy league, and a fantasy game. Within that game, there is a MotoXpod Show league. And actually, our own Michael Lindsay won it, but I don't think that's very fair because he probably cheated since he probably
I've made the game.
wrote the game. Yeah, so the guy that finished second is Budman283. I'm not sure if that's Buddy Antonez or not, but as of now, Budman283 is going to get a prize. Race Tech, Troll Training, and X-Brand Goggles are all giving us some prizes. We're going to do first place giveaways, rotate the giveaways every week. So, yeah, we'll find out who Budman 283 is. We'll reach out, get an address, and
Yeah,
get
we
you.
got his email.
Okay, cool. We'll get you a prize out. So yeah, if you're listening and you don't play, sign up. It's a lot of fun. I didn't even look at my score. It was so bad. I had 3 riders that didn't get any points. One of those being Hunter Lawrence. F.U. Cade Clason. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Killed my fantasy leagues, but anyway, go ahead.
Well, I was
Emma.
going to say, if anybody wants to, it's a free open league, MotoXpod show. If you go to the league list, you can join it because we actually have our global league, which there's a ton of prizes for. This one is just for the MotoXpod league. So if you're listening to this podcast-wise, just go to the site, hit leagues. It's the second league that shows up because it has the second most players in it. If you're watching this on YouTube,
What
it
league
will
has
be
the most?
the global league, the main one.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, we're going to have to take care of that.
I'm just going to delete everybody out of that one. But no, it's fun because we're only doing a winning prize every week.
Yeah.
We're rotating it, but also the league is a lot smaller than the main league. And yes, me and Jamie are in it. If either of us win, we don't get the prize. So
Yeah,
it'll be
that's
passed
likely to
on to the
happen.
people who actually deserve it.
That's likely to happen. Okay, let's get into a couple more topics before we get to Levi Kitchen. Vince Freeze, you want to talk about that, or you want to just skip over it?
I'll talk about it.
I'll talk about it.
So we had incidences with Dino, Logan Carnow. I heard somebody blame the Malcolm Stewart, the start with Ken Roxon. I don't feel like that was a Freeze problem.
He was just part of the
I feel
jumble
like
up
Malcolm
that was-
came into him on that one,
Yeah.
but let's just go with the Dean Wilson one.
Which one? The one on press day or the one on?
I didn't even see the one on press day. Tell us, so
I don't know. They were just, they were just duking it out for no apparent reason. Like the first lap of press, and it was just like, why?
was Dean also battling back? Like,
Oh yeah.
so he was.
Yeah, I mean, Dean wasn't like,
yeah,
not doing anything, but it's just like, bro, like you don't have to. You're not the guy.
right.
You know what I mean? Like you don't have to go out first and battle everyone on press day, which is what he does. And it's just like he wants to be the guy so bad, but it's like you're not the guy. But yeah, I mean the one with Dean was just stupid. Like I think it stemmed from their past
Supercross,
worlds
yeah.
and then that, and it's just like, they just egg each other on kind of. But yeah, I mean he shoots himself in the foot because he's always involved in everything.
Right.
So
Even when it's not overly
traumatic.
or ridiculous, it's like, well, but when you look at the history, but what I want to know is, he obviously didn't finish the race, just walked off because he dislocated a shoulder.
I don't think he dislocated.
Oh, I thought that's what it was.
separated.
Okay.
Separated.
His AC joint.
So either way,
So some team told me apparently however he landed on it, it went totally numb. So that's why he wandered off. Apparently his arm was dead arm.
Gotcha.
Like,
But
didn't
do you
work.
think
he lifted his arm up to take his goggles off.
So that's what I was told. Again, I did the air quotes, supposedly.
do you think this changes anything, or because I don't think it clicks with him that what he's doing
No,
is so
everybody I've talked to that ends up talking about this stuff just says it's like talking to a wall.
Yeah.
Just goes in at one. And the hard part is I've to been forward to Vince off track is one of my favorite people to talk to. I don't even know at this point if it's terrible decisions. It's just lack of concept of you're the common denominator in all these situations.
Yeah, I mean he's a nice guy. Like talking to him, just face to face.
sure.
Very nice guy. He came up to me in staging and was like, "Hey, Cade, how are you? How's everything going?" I was like, "I'm good, man."
Logan told me the same thing, that on track walk he was just like, "Hey man, what's up?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like he tries. He doesn't really try. It's just like who he is, but to be a nice guy,
Yeah.
and he is.
He's just one of those
But
guys
it's
when the
like-
helmet goes on,
It's yeah,
the lights go off.
and
Yeah.
I like racing hard and I like banging into people, but I sometimes feel like he takes it over the top.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's clearly he does.
Again, I think it's just common denominator. There's a certain amount of stuff you can chalk up to racing and incidences, being aggressive. It's just the total history starts to add up eventually.
Well, the other thing is the start thing. I don't put total blame on him for it.
Yeah.
Because I think that does happen all the time. But Hunter was only 2 gates inside of him.
Yeah.
It's not like Hunter was middle of the inside and had no idea he was coming over.
Yeah.
Hunter had a general idea that he was there, but he just kept cutting.
Yeah.
And then I think who was way on the inside? Was it Kenny?
I think it.
I actually don't remember.
Yeah, because
so.
it was. I thought it was Kenny.
I don't remember if Kenny was
Yeah.
in my heat race or not, but yeah, I just that. It kind of pinched Hunter between that person and Vince, and I think even Hunter didn't really look over to see if there was anybody to the right, because they had the angle, but the people on the inside, it's just first corners like that are wild.
Right hand handed ones
especially fast ones.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to rip through that corner.
Do you foresee ML? I mean, you know how the industry works. Ever anything happening to punish Vince for this? I heard that there was a meeting. Maybe Lewis told me this. Somebody told me this, that they actually, maybe it was Logan, that they talked to Carson and Vince beforehand. Like Honda did not.
Oh no, I told you that.
Okay, you told me that.
Yeah, so here's what I'll say is after the big World Supercross one with Brain, I know there were certain sponsors that backed out of Wayne to help the team. There was a lot of discussions with Honda, and it was kind of on shaky ice for a while. But after Vince's and Dean's interaction on press day, and then on Carson getting into it, Joe, they got a talking to on Friday and basically got told, like, do not, like, I don't know exactly the words, but the way I got in short form from one of the guys was, don't touch any of them. Just don't do it. And then they both of them cause Honda mayhem in their mains. I know the person that went and talked to him. It's the highest guy basically in racing possible, and he was not freaking happy afterwards. And I understand it. Like, again, the Hunter one, you can argue multiple ways. I do chalk up as a little bit of racing incident, but when you take the Dean one, the press day one, when you take Carson messing with Joe so much all day, they're just over it.
Yeah.
They're over it.
What's the backlash? What happens? What do you think?
Well, I think one hard one for them is MCR for a couple of years has been like a good, 450 support team for them. I think with like Phoenix stepping up with Dylan, I think it gets to the point, like, I do know their support has gone less and less over the years since, JB's no longer there and stuff.
Sure.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point changes. Like, even with Ferrandis' deal with Phoenix, there was very specific verbiage in his contract about if he were to basically cost Hunter or Jet a podium from aggressive riding. Not if they, nothing about having to let anybody by, but if he directly caused one of those two to miss a podium from an aggressive riding, he would get his bonus nullified for that round because Honda supports those. So, like, they definitely don't want people messing with the HRC guys. You can race them. You don't put them on the ground.
Yeah. But, I want to say that would almost, you would think that Vince Freeze would be like, oh, that I don't want to cross that line. But again, I think that helmet goes on and he just, one, doesn't realize he's doing it maybe, or maybe he does it on purpose. But two, he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong.
Yeah. I think the tough one is take like MCR. You've got some other Genova, and I appreciate all the money that Mike has spent in the sport, and clearly he cares for Vince in some way and continues to do it, but I also hear them complain about not being respected sometimes as a team, and I look at situations like this, and it's just like there's a reason why you don't have the respect of certain people in the paddock because well, I should say this. I know Genova was very displeased after the race and had talked with the riders as well, but ultimately they are his guys, and he's continued to support Vince for a decade.
Yeah.
Okay, that almost surprises me more that, okay, Vince Freeze, whatever, he's a head case, whatever you want to say, he doesn't realize what he's doing is wrong. But then you have the team owner and the team manager at MCR that should be at some point, all right, dude, you're not getting it. We love you, but we're going to have to let you go. This isn't working for us. But it just seems like they're all supportive for the most part.
Yeah, I think it really stems from just Genova having a really good relationship with, Genova doesn't do this for the money or anything like that. I think he does it just because he loves it. And he's like, I'm friends with Vince and I work well with Vince. And I mean, whatever, I mean, that's my personal opinion. I've heard Genova, like, if he likes you, you're set.
Right.
Like, if he doesn't, then he's probably going to cut you pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would think that most teams would think that way. Yeah. You're going to cause me pain and issues all the time. I'm probably going to cut you loose. So you just have to wait and see. I mean, I don't even know.
Before we go to Levi Kitchen, bigger surprise, Cooper Webb's improvement since Paris or Justin Cooper's result? Okay. Coming from the first turn pileup that he was involved with Malcolm and Kenny.
Yeah, probably Cooper Webb result. I mean, he was ripping.
Yeah.
I mean, when I rewatched the race, I was like, dang, like that looks good.
Didn't look like even the same guy from Paris.
No, and I mean, I didn't watch
physically
Paris.
and the way he was riding.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really watch Paris. I just kind of watched the highlights of it, but I mean, he wasn't really relevant to those, front three or four guys. So yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone expected him to come out and put the fight at the front. So I don't even. I mean, what did Justin Cooper end up 8th.
8th,
Eighth.
yeah, right in
So-
front
Came
of
from first
caught
corner
and past
crash, so-
Eli, who finished 9th. Yeah,
He crashed in.
He was in the first turn pileup with Malcolm and Kenny.
Yep,
Oh, okay, and Christian, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's pretty impressive.
yeah, I mean, that's a good ride too. I thought Kenny was the furthest that got up, but didn't Kenny have to stop?
Kenny went mechanics area, and Malcolm crashed twice. He crashed in the pileup and then off the wall corner jump. I didn't see the crash. I just saw him laying there, and I'm like, that feeling of a rider of crashing twice in the first lap is just the worst thing.
I
on the
remember
face of the
somebody
earth.
telling me that he got up from that crash, took off, and then crashed again.
Yeah,
So-
like 3 sections later. But to answer your question, Amy, I would agree with the Webb thing. No offense, like J. Coop, that's what he was doing last year, not getting fantastic starts, coming up to 7th or 8th. Really good. So I think, yeah, Webb, you just can't doubt him, but
Yeah.
he did it.
And on the review show, you talked about him losing. You felt like he lost a certain amount of weight.
I think they said something like he was down 15 pounds from Paris.
So Phil said it was 25. Now I don't know if that's accurate, but I heard him say it twice, which that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, in like a month and a half or so to lose that much weight, but he looks good.
Yep.
FXR is designed by racers for racers with industry-leading fit, finish, and performance. Progression is the name of the game. With every new piece created at FXR, we push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best products possible. Used by Muck-Off FXR Club MX Yamaha, Mike Brown, Brock Tickle, Chris Kiefer, Benny Bloss, and many more. FXR's core motor roots. So visit fxrracing.com or go to your local dealership to see the complete 2024 line, including the Helium and Revo. Tonight, FXR brings us from Pro Circuit Kawasaki, the number 47, Levi Kitchen. What's up, Levi?
What's up, guys? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. I almost called you Kitch, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Oh, God. Not the kitchen thing.
Is that still a thing? Is
Yeah,
Steve
hey,
still
Cade
doing
Clason's in studio, by the way, Levi and Michael Lindsay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Steve still tries to make it a thing. Like he's always. What's
I
up,
thought
Kitch?
it was kitschy at one point, wasn't it?
It might be, but Kitch is what he's really going with, and yeah, we can't have that. I don't like it. I like the chef. I like kitchen. I don't like Kitch.
Yeah, I prefer the chef too.
Yeah. Well, man, hey, A1's over. You qualified P1, 7th in your heat, but a really, really good race on the podium. I think you said on the podium that last year you would have just been happy with the podium, but I think you want more than that now, and you feeling just a lot better on this Kawasaki. Talk about your weekend.
Yeah, I think the weekend had its positives, especially, the day as a whole. Qualifying was good, obviously. Never been in that position, so that was cool. Heat race, obviously, didn't go great. Had a little fall early, but still came through the pack okay. And then gave me a terrible gate pick for the main, but I somehow managed to get a good start in the main. And then, yeah, I don't know. When Juju passed me early, it kind of, I don't know, I was kind of freaking out and tightened up really bad. So it all kind of snowballed. And, at one, that first set, it was looking like I was going to go back to like 7th or 8th, just the way I was riding. And then kind of pulled it together a little bit towards the end.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I mean, salvaged the podium. So
Yeah, you mentioned that you had tightened up. I think that was in the press conference, and Jordan came up on you, and it seemed like it kind of, maybe got in your head a little bit. You had a couple laps that weren't as great, but you figured it out. And then, of course, you and Max went at it. So it sort of seemed like your main event was up and down a little bit, and then at the end you put in a push. Do you feel like that was a more mental or just, A1 and just trying to figure it out and stay consistent?
I think it was just nerves, to be honest.
Yep.
Like, I'm always nervous. And also, I would say part of it too is the pressure that I'm putting on myself this year, which I'm fine with. But like, I don't, I expect myself to be at the front. So when I quickly make a mistake like that, because I was in the lead, actually, I kind of got to the lead early.
Yep.
And then I messed up that double and Juju got me in. I should have just, really I should have just sent it the first lap and tried to make a pass in the whoops or something. But I didn't get away quick enough, and RJ did it perfect. He got around me and then got around Juju, and then that gave him a buffer. And I wasn't keeping up with RJ at the beginning anyway, but even for Jordan or something, like, it gave him a gap and he was able to pull away. So I don't know. I think it was a lot of nerves, and yeah, I guess I don't know. The mental side of it's always hard. I was definitely kind of freaking out and didn't ride anything like I did. You know, I watched on TV and I was pretty disappointed in myself. Just some of the stuff I was doing.
Well, I feel like if you were a little bit disappointed in yourself and you still got a podium and you were a little bit unsure, not confident, that should be switched now. You weren't confident. You were feeling a little bit off and had some nerves, and you still got on the podium. That should give you a lot of confidence going into San Francisco.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of what I took from it. Like, you know, people probably think I could be blowing smoke up their ass, but like, I really do. I do know I'm capable of a little bit more, and not even like I still rode okay. Just a lot of mistakes, which is like normally unlike me, and a lot of, I don't know. I think my bike setup too. Like we tested already a decent amount this week, and got me more of a. I mean, my bike was good when I was really aggressive on it, such as practice.
Yep.
But that main event riding style is a little bit different, and the track breaks down. So like, my rear end was too tall, and yeah, I was just losing the back end everywhere and knifing the front everywhere. So, yeah, we'll get her sorted out. But I'm really excited, like, to start the season off that way, and it's gonna be a brawl, I think, between you know, me, RJ, Smitty, Joe's obviously was sneaking in at the end. Max,
Yep.
I mean, everybody's riding good, but it's gonna be pretty wild, I think.
Yeah, it's a good group of guys.
See, Levi, I was thinking, it's Cade, by the way. I was thinking, like, I have that similar issue where, like, my bike setup, I can do 20s, you know, within like a second of what I sprint at, you know, where we train. But like when you go to a racetrack, it's so different because you're not quite as comfortable as you are at like the practice track. So your setup has to be different because the track is so much rougher. You're not as comfortable. You're not going as fast as say you were in the heat race because you guys get to ride like a brand new track. So it's like, do you guys have like a setting that like, hey, like I know for the main, I want to go like 2 clicks softer or, you know, faster. Do you guys do anything like that? Or do you guys kind of just like have to go off feeling alone?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's actually funny you mentioned it because being on Yamaha for a few years, like we weren't too, I mean, I've only done one season, like one full season of Supercross. So I don't have a ton of experience in that sense, but like I've already kind of been thinking of that kind of stuff, you know, like we got Cruz helping and all the other guys, but almost being like, hey, you know, leave my bike for qualifying and then put on my, let's say, main event setup. You know, even if it's not like different, he'll just know, like you said, a little bit softer is normally the case. I think. I mean, I don't think you're going to go stiffer for the main, generally speaking. So, yeah, I think that's definitely something I want to get down for sure. Like, is having that option because, I mean, it does change a lot. In practice, I ran a 1 minute flat or whatever, and in the race, I think the best time was a 1:04. So, like, that's 4 seconds is quite a bit on a Supercross track, and yeah, you're just not pushing the bike or loading the bike the same way as you do early in the day. So, it reacts totally different.
I did a 1:04 in practice, so that makes me feel a lot better.
Well, Levi, do you realize that Cade also beat Hunter Lawrence?
Yeah. I was watching it from the I'm down getting ready for my main actually, and me and a couple guys were sitting there watching, and we were just like, man, I think Cade's gonna do it. And somebody next, I forget who it was. I think it was the Alpine Star guy, Christian. He's like, oh, I don't know. I think he's gonna get him last lap, and I'm like, dude, he's not gonna get him. And yeah, Cade, you pulled it off, man.
I pulled it off, dude.
He effed me in fantasy, but I'm more happy that Cade made it in the main.
I don't think you were in the moment.
No, I was. I wanted to give him crap, but I was actually happy for him. I suck at fantasy anyway. It didn't matter.
Yeah, I was curious, Levi, the situation with the rhythm lane that Lux Turner was down in at the end. Like the red cross flag placement was so hard to judge. Were you stressed at all? You know, the first couple laps trying to figure out where I can and can't jump, or were you confident? You know, kind of in your decision per se. Were you worried at all about that, or?
In the heat of, like the race and everything, obviously you see it and you try to think about it, but I didn't want to think about it too much. And I think a victim of that was Max. Like, I think he was playing it safe, which had we gotten screwed, he would have looked like a genius. But it was just such a, like, I don't want to ever say anything bad about how everything's ran or whatever, but in that scenario, I think there should have been a red cross immediately on the first jump.
Yep.
And
make it nice and clear cut.
We should have rolled from there. And then once you're past the bike, you can do whatever you want. But it was weird because, like, we could 3 in, then roll. And then, I do know, at least hopefully, or, every time it'll be this way. But once you're past the bike, no matter what, you're good to go.
Well, I'm trying to think. The one lap you 3'd in, I think it was the first time you did it. I think it was you behind Max. You jumped in. You basically had to land right on the binders, or you would have been in like almost into the back of him, right?
Yeah, and I also would have for sure got docked in that scenario. I 3'd in, but all I saw was just a yellow, and basically yellows mean nothing now. It's like
yeah. Yellow just means there's something somewhere. Who cares?
Yeah. So I 3'd in on yellow, like whatever, and then had to lock him up because then it was a red cross. And even Joe, he like risked it even more because he passed Max, same area, but he like doubled from the face that the bike was laying on. But technically, I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, but he was like, if I was in his shoes, I would have been like, nah, dude, that's too risky to do.
Yep.
So I would go roll and then on off. But yeah, he like doubled from the face of where the kid was and his bike was laying. I was like, dang.
Yeah, I saw that. I just knew like Max in his head was like, "What the f?"
Yeah.
But,
where can I go?
Yeah. I asked you in the press conference if you had talked to him, and you hadn't at that point. Have you talked to Max since? You guys were out at GH yesterday, I believe.
Oh yeah, we've talked. We went and watched footage and stuff, and
yeah,
you're
cool.
We were all good. Yeah.
Do you guys still as a team all go and watch film at Mitch's and stuff like that, or is that still a thing? I thought I heard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you didn't sound too excited about that.
Oh no, I was just, no, it was good for sure. I mean, it's something new. I think it's great. I'm gonna know next time to eat dinner before I go. I didn't do that.
He didn't supply like barbecue or pizza or nothing.
Somebody's got to win for the pizza.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Man, well, I feel like both these guys are going to get a win this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I really think you guys were talking on the review show, and I listened to Steve's, but I really think Max gets a win.
Oh, I said it pre-season. I think he gets his first win this season.
I don't think, Levi, that I've talked to you since you made the switch. What do you like about the Kawasaki versus the old bike? I'm not going to ask you to talk bad about the Yamaha, but what do you like better?
Well, every bike has its, things it does better and things that maybe doesn't do as good. To be honest, as Kawasaki, I haven't found a thing that it doesn't do like as good, that was like the coolest part. The only thing like I really noticed that I felt it did a little better was, well, for one, I like the hydraulic clutch, like off the line. It's more, I want to say, predictable, forgiving. Like it almost slips itself, if that makes any sense. I don't know why. That's just my opinion. But and then as far as like on the track goes, this bike allows me to turn which actually, and I still am getting used to it. Like even though I've been on it for a little bit now, I'm learning a lot of stuff. Like I've seen in the main event, actually, there was probably like 3 times where I completely oversteered and went into the opposite hay bales, overturned some of the turns just because I wasn't super used to on the Yamaha. Like the bike, it didn't turn quite like this one. So I do like that about it, though. I just got to kind of get the feeling down of how much it turns.
Sure. Levi Kitchen tonight brought to you by FXR. Visit FXRRacing.com or go to your local dealership and ask for the new 2024 line of FXR.
I was curious, Levi. I made this joke on press day and even into the early part of the day of all the riders switching teams and numbers and gear and having to get used to it. I don't know why, but for some reason yours was one of the hardest to wrap my head around. between all the changes, but just something about you on the Cowie, at least to me, and I may be completely full of it here, I feel like you literally look different. You look a little more neutral. Something about you on the bike looks different. Like when you look at film of yourself, you after spending the last couple years at Star, you get on PC, you look at, like, do you notice a change in how you ride the bike? Is it even identifiable to you, or does it just seem like same old for the way you actually are on the motorcycle?
You're not the first person to say that. And honestly, watching, I think it has changed a little bit, but that's also something I've really been trying to get better about. And it actually goes all the way to the gym side of my program now. And even when I'm cycling and stuff, like when I was in Santa Barbara with Peter and Chase and all them, he calls me Chin, because he'd yell at me like every time we're on a bicycle, and he's telling me to get my chin back, like fix my, stand up straight type of thing, or on a bicycle, I guess you're sitting or standing, whatever. But
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like kind of more like neutral, your head's up more. Like I feel like you're a lankier guy on the Star bike. I always felt like you were kind of squatted off the back of the bike a lot. And you just look, if anything, like your stance, you look more confident. You look more centered and in control on the bike. Like I said, it caught me off guard, because usually people's riding style, no matter how much they change gear, bikes, you instantly click. I'm like, every time I see you go by, it just would take like a little bit of a second to kind of go, oh yeah, that's Levi.
You can say normal. He looks more normal now.
It looks more normal. Oh, geez,
I have that issue too. Like I'm tall, so like I kind of look like an ape sometimes on my bike. Like not quite as bad as like Benny, but like you did look really big on the Yamaha, and you look like like you fit the Cowie.
Yeah, for sure. I know like you said, obviously you know the feeling, but that's why my butt patch at A1 was a praying mantis, because that's how I always ride. Like I'm like the hunchback.
Yeah,
I don't even know. I mean,
hunchback.
That's how I've been. But that's something I'm trying to fix. And naturally, getting on the bike, I do think it helps for sure. As well as trying to be conscious of it and fix it too.
So we talked a little bit preseason, or even like press conference, about you having a little different program at PC. You doing the Florida thing, even you were doing the Santa Barbara boot camp. You're kind of with Chase and Tom and some of those guys a lot. Getting picked to race 250 West, how much did you have to weigh? Like, okay, how much time am I going to spend in California during the week? Is it worth flying back to Florida? Because it's one of those things I don't know if fans really think about, like the wear and tear of you literally traveling back and forth every week when you're going literal coast to coast versus staying here. Weighing that stuff out, did you have to put much thought into that?
Yeah, I mean a little bit, but it's been pretty smooth. Like I was out in Florida I was here I'm in California now.
Mm-hmm.
I was here for quite a while, actually, probably 5 or 6 weeks, just getting the bike dialed, and Mitch wanted to make sure everything was okay before he sent me off. So did that, then went to Florida, and I was actually there for about 3.5 weeks, maybe 4. Came out here the week before Anaheim, and then, I'm out here this month, and I'm stoked because, as much as I like being in Florida and stuff, last year I was West also, but Star, you can't stay out here.
250 guys had to fly, right?
Yeah. So that flight, man, like it's brutal, to be honest. Like it takes a full day, obviously, going there and a full day going back, and just the recovery and stuff. Like this week I'm riding 3 days, and I feel, really good. Where like last year I would ride 2 days and still feel kind of sluggish because of the flying and stuff. So yeah, I did have to put some thought into that, and I don't know. It's nice, staying out here for the month. Then I'll go back after Anaheim though.
I want to ask you, going into the season, we all kind of go, who's the favorites? And you talked about RJ. He got a good jump and was gone pretty much. But RJ and Joe were kind of the guys that were considered the favorite. Are you able to use that as motivation? Do you even care? Obviously we all thought you were going to do well, but I don't know that anybody said, Levi is the championship contender. Do you use that as motivation?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't look into that stuff. Like, I obviously did hear more about them than me.
Yeah.
But I think, well, the funny thing is kind of, I feel like it's cliche to say because everybody kind of says it, but like I know RJ at one point, like he was always an underdog as an amateur, and Joe, you know, moving over here, he was an underdog at one point. And I was too. So we're all used to that. I personally, I like it. Like I don't mind. I don't care whether I'm in the spotlight or I'm not. Like it doesn't really matter to me. And you know, it definitely, I guess you could say it gives me a little motivation because I want to like prove to them that, hey, you probably should have been talking about me, you know?
Yeah, I like it. Maybe we should talk some trash on you, and then you'll be like, you know what? F you. I'm going to show you what's up.
Do it. Talk all of it, honestly.
All right. We'll do that next week when you're not on and you're not listening.
Yeah, do it. Be like, dude, that guy sucks, man.
Yeah. God, that Levi Kitch guy. He needs to be a chef.
Yeah.
He can't ride a dirt bike for shit.
Go back to school.
Levi, what made you choose Florida? Like, I feel like, you know, you could almost go anywhere with your deal that you have now. Like, to be honest, I don't even know where you ride at right now, but like I see some guys choose that, and then some guys choose the Carolinas. Like, what about Florida? Because you're from Washington, right?
Yeah.
So it's about as far away from home as you could get. Like, does your family come down there and help you out? Because you're still young enough that it's like, you know, mom and dad probably are still a big part of the program, at least a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I mean, I was on my own since I was 18, like in Louisiana. So I'd already lived pretty far away, but yeah, I just like Florida, especially, you know, the Claremont, like over there is just, I was in Tallahassee for a long time and it's cool there, but there's just not much around to do like outside of riding.
Yeah.
Unless you want to get in trouble. So, you know, being in Claremont is nice. You got Orlando close and there's just a little bit more to do. And yeah, I mean, the tracks are good. I really like the dirt.
So are you like
know,
specifically at Sandbox or where do you ride at?
Yeah, I'm at Sandbox, but it's kind of flexible. Like I can ride other places if I need to. I haven't yet, but you know, I plan to jump around. And
it is nice because there's so many good spots right there.
Yeah.
People's houses. Like, as long as you're friends
For
with
sure.
somebody, you can get in just about anywhere.
Yeah, and I've even thought about it. Like, you know, there's times where we get rain in that area, and if I got to drive 3 hours back to Tallahassee and go ride MTF or something, like I'd be more than happy to do that and just have those options to change it up. Like, obviously, it's a little more spread out than California, but there are some other tracks around that could be good.
Yeah.
I might be missing on this one. Is Gillum living with you in Florida?
He is, yeah.
He is. I love that guy. I don't know. Ever since he came over here, I always try to catch dinner with him. He's in town, but no, I'm glad he's got I don't know, good people to be around. He's just, his whole story and background of getting here is.
Are we assuming that Levi's good people?
I would assume so. I mean, maybe we're assuming too much, but
yeah. Well, we just said he sucks. You know, we don't.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Both left team. You still ended up inheriting Gillum. I feel like between you and probably Jay Coop, you're like his parents at this point.
Yeah, man, Gillum's awesome, and I think like honestly, I told my girlfriend, I was like, hey, I'm not gonna have anybody live at the house, you know. And then Gillum came up, and I was like, because I was talking to actually Swanee before I you know, had left or whatever. And he's like, yeah, Gillum's, I think, maybe going Husky, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Might need a place to stay. And I was like, considering it. And then, yeah, I was just like, dude, Gillum's the man. And his whole, like you said, like he works hard and, you know, he's away from his family. And, yeah, I wanted to help the kid out. And hopefully the guy can do well East Coast and eventually save up enough money he can get his own place. But for now, I'm like,
you need to get a couple win bonuses.
Yeah, and I like having him stay with me, but I'm sure that's his goal too, is to be able to afford his own place. So
yeah, I just know if anybody, I gotta do a pod with him about, but his whole story of like last year when he didn't have his visa and he was stuck in a hotel in Spain because his family lives on like the other side of Spain. He was showing me the videos of like I think it was like a crappy 125 he was riding in a field. He's like, I was just stuck in this hotel for weeks trying to figure out if I could get in the country. Like his story will make you really reconsider any like bitching you do about your life, about having it rough, or I would if I had just a recording of what he said, like anybody who wants to bitch about their riding situation or anything here in the safety, I'm like, dude, just listen to this kid and he's happy to be here. This will make you really just be thankful for anything you got going on.
We need to hear that story then, because we all get content and forget that we have it really good.
Oh, for sure. And that's what I like most about him is like, no matter how it goes, like that kid's got a smile on his face every day, and he's just so thankful for everything he has. So it reminds me too. I think a lot of us forget to be grateful for what we have. So
I was going to make that joke. He is almost like one of the best people to have back home, because if you had a rough riding day or anything, you could probably go talk to him and he would tell you some terrible EMX story or some other story. You'd be like, I'm getting paid good money to ride dirt bikes. I'm on a good team. I'm in Florida. I got my own play. Yeah, okay, life doesn't suck that much. I'm going to quit bitching right now.
Exactly.
Levi, I got a couple more questions for you. I got one more like race related, and then I've got a couple personality ones I want to throw at you. But as far as racing this weekend, new schedule for West Coast races. Want to see what you think about it, and I haven't had a chance to ask you, Cade, if you like the earlier schedule and getting out of there a little earlier, if it felt any different.
I think it felt different. Like for the day program part, I don't know why I was still just as tired at 6:30 as I am at whatever it was, 8:30 or whatever it was before.
Sure.
So, I would say my favorite part of all of it. Well, I'll give you my least favorite part first. I got to wake up earlier. I don't like waking up early.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then my favorite part is when the racing's done, there's still enough time to get like some decent food. So that's all I got.
That one means a lot to me. Anybody that knows me, that food's all I'm worried about.
Hangry.
Yeah.
Hangry.
Yeah. Like I'm pissed off after a race of like, I'm so hungry that I'm pretty mad. So
yeah. Usually at A1, everybody's at that In-N-Out down the road. Like they're all there.
In-N-Out or the one, I always see people there, or the one that's near Mitch's shop in Corona.
Oh,
guys
yeah.
are heading back to Marietta.
Sure.
Yeah. I waited for 45 minutes at the one here in Lake Elsinore.
Really?
The one Lake Elsinore is terrible. The line's shit.
It wasn't good.
Dude, next time I hit the one in Corona, the one near PC is pretty fast.
That's always, if I only get In-N-Out if I make the main. So I made the main.
So you're like, I'm earning this.
I'm fucking earning the In-N-Out, dude. I haven't had In-N-Out in so it's so good.
I think I've had it a couple times recently. I don't know what's wrong with you.
I don't know, man.
Well, how did the day affect you?
Gotta,
go ahead, Levi. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say you got to treat yourself for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sunday, I don't know how to feel about it.
Okay.
I think for A1, like at least it was dark.
Yes.
It gets dark out here super early, so it was at least dark for the nitro. The crappy part is when like the sun is like later in the year, the sun is still up, and like it really sucks when we're racing and the sun is just over the top of this like the bleachers.
Sure.
And like you're trying to go through a rhythm and you can't see jack shit. That's the absolute worst. So yeah, that's the worst part to me. I could care less about the fireworks and all that stuff. Like, yeah, it's really cool, but
cool for the fans.
It's cool for the fans.
Yeah.
I like getting out of there early. The indoor ones, it doesn't matter for any reason why. But yeah, being done a little bit earlier is by far the best part.
Okay.
And my wife loves it. She stayed up and watched the whole race, which she never does, because she was back home.
Shout out to Sarah.
But yeah, that's really the only positive to me is that we get done.
All
Right.
I'm doing one of those I need to quit bitching about my own life moments now in my head after joking
Yeah,
about Gilman. Him talk about trying to ride
Perez.
Supercross in Chouse. We were at Glen Helen a little late yesterday, and I was bitching going up and down the hills a little bit because I couldn't see a pothole here there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about a pothole compared to hitting a Supercross triple or
With
a
a
quad
rut.
rhythm lane
Yeah.
with a rut with the sun in your eyes. Yeah, I'm done.
Nope.
I need to reevaluate what I complain about.
All right, Levi. Let's hit a couple personal,
Rapid fire.
Yeah, musically, what are you listening to fire you up, and what are you listening to chill you down right now?
Well, the music part actually, that's a good question, because I think that's part of the reason I tightened up in the main. So I forgot my headphones in Florida. Then I had these plug-in ones, like just the OG Apple headphones, right?
Yeah, wired. Sure.
But wired. But on Tuesday, I got the new phone, and this phone is a USB charger now.
Yeah, USB-C. Sure.
So I'm all pumped up, ready for the main. I'm like, all right, I'm put my music in and warm up, and I go in my backpack and grab them, and yeah, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So I had no music, which is big for me. Like, I'm a music dude, especially on the line. So that sucked. This weekend, that actually reminds me I need to go get some headphones, but I don't know. I mean, any sort of rock, like, I like the grunge stuff, obviously.
Yep.
Metallica, Chains, Soundgarden, Audio Slave, any of that I'm a fan of before a race. And then I don't know, after, I mean, I kind of dabble in anything. I'll listen to country or
I'm out on that.
I don't care.
That's my jam right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, Cade's country. Are you gonna be? Are you guys riding at GH tomorrow?
No.
Okay. I wish I'd rolled up the hill yesterday. I showed you my setup. I ride with music. I have an iPod shuffle on the side of my helmet.
Dangling half the time.
No,
when
not
you're
anymore,
riding.
man. I got good Velcro. It's good.
Finally
now.
got good Velcro after watching you race GNCCs with it just
hanging
slapping
for 2
you on the
hours?
side for
Yeah.
2 hours.
No.
I'm impressed it stays plugged in, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, me too. I was the whole time I was racing that GNCC, I was worried I was going to lose my iPod. That's all I thought about.
I'm just gonna say, I don't think you should say that out loud because I don't think you're allowed to do that.
At a local rate, right? Nobody cares. Maybe in the GNCC you're not allowed, but nobody said anything.
I mean, to be fair, Nick Schmidt used to race with headphones in. So.
Dude, Levi, it's awesome, man. I'm out there on the track and like Tools jamming, and Metallica, and it's awesome. And you can still hear the bike. It's fine. So
Now I figured out why you have no high intensity. You're just out there listening to
Yeah,
music
man,
on a Sunday freaking cruise.
just cruising.
Yeah.
This explains a lot.
Okay, we'll move on.
I'm gonna put some country in your iPod to piss you off, so you'll go faster to get your moto done. And
Yeah.
get off.
What's your best non-moto childhood memory?
True.
Probably should have given you a
That
heads
one-
I'm
up.
about to say, going really insightful with no
Yeah.
heads up. Great.
Yeah, that's like,
Oh, I got
I
a good
don't-
one.
You got one? Well, give us yours while he thinks
no,
about it.
No. I want to ask him something.
Oh, okay.
go. You want to ask me something?
No, you answer the question.
Yeah, if you got an answer.
First,
So demanding.
best. I can't even say because I don't want to pick a best, to be honest. Like,
Well, it doesn't have to be the best
Non-motocross.
then. It doesn't have to be the best, just something that stands out. I don't know. Maybe you went on a family vacation or, maybe it was a cool Christmas present that, you were really excited about.
fishing trip.
honestly, I went on a pretty fun trip. I think I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9. I'm sure my dad will listen to this. He's gonna be pissed because I don't know. But we drove from home. Well, yeah, I broke my foot right before Loretta's. It was my first year making it.
Mhm.
So then we ended up getting in the motorhome and we drove the coast and went to Disneyland and all that stuff. And that was pretty cool. And actually, a few years later, funny story, I wanted a BMX bike, so I told my dad that I wanted to quit racing. So I actually quit racing on 65s. Had qualified for Loretta's, I believe, and then quit and got a bicycle that I wanted.
Yeah.
And then about 3 months later, I was like, hey, I think, don't sell the bikes yet. I want to race again. So really, I just finessed my dad and missed Loretta's, but that's a pretty funny story.
Nice. What's yours, Cade?
All right.
What you got?
So we were talking about this the other day while we were working out. What's the hardest thing, like workout, race, whatever? What's the hardest thing you've ever done?
Like physically.
Like physically,
Workout.
like, you know what I mean? Like the gnarliest century, like nearly drowned trying to swim somewhere. Like what's the hardest thing you've ever done?
Boy. Some of the, like, just this year, in Santa Barbara, these rides that I had to go on. My very last ride of boot camp, it was supposed to be like a 3.5-hour ride, and it turned in. We went up this hill called Gibraltar and
Ooh, I know
over
where
and
that
down
is.
the back. Yeah, like we went on this big old ride, and Chase is super good on a bicycle, and so is Peter. So they dropped me a little bit, and then I got a flat, like, I don't know, maybe a quarter way up this gravel hill that was just going forever. I had to ride the bike flat all the way up. Peter and them, they don't stop. So, like, it's every man for himself out there, And yeah, I had to go down Gibraltar with a flat. I was completely, like, I didn't eat enough that day, and I started, like, I thought I was gonna fully tank and pass out, but ended up making it home, so that was good. But that was tough. And then another time, I missed one bicycle ride, actually. And I had this idea to do a century with the Star team. I was like, yeah, we should do one. So Swanee told us I'll be there at 7:30. Well, my phone like died, or I don't even remember. Like my phone died, no alarm. I wake up like panicking. It's like 8:30. Get my phone plugged in, whatever. See, I have a bunch of missed calls, and I'm like freaking out. Swanee's pissed. He's like, all right, we'll hop on your stationary and do a century on Zwift. So
oh boy.
yeah, I did 100 miles. I did 100 miles on the stationary, and like to some people that's not bad, but I told myself I'm not going to stop the whole time, and I got like 80 something miles in and had to get off my bike and like fell on the floor. Like I was just so dizzy. Like it was so bad. Slammed a Coke, ate a yogurt, got back on and finished it. But like that was kind of hard.
That's awesome. It's
Yeah.
gnarly.
That is gnarly. Dude, centuries.
What
are
about you,
tough.
Cade?
I've done a couple centuries. So like those aren't that bad, but I did a solo like 50 one time. And I think it had like 6,000 feet of climbing, and I was all by myself, and I was absolutely fried. So that was one of the hardest. And then I did Mount Lemmon solo one time. So that's like 6,500 there's no downhill. It's straight up, straight back down. It's 26 miles to the top. And that one was brutal. Because I didn't know where the top was. I just moved there.
Yeah.
And I just kept pedaling. And it took
I think
me,
it's never going to end.
dude, all day. Like I think I averaged like 4 miles an hour going up. Like it was unbelievable.
that.
And then
Why
on the
is
way down, I was doing like 35 the whole way down.
Yeah.
I laugh because my worst one is cycling as well.
Oh, I mean, well, it's just
always
to me, it's the hardest when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you have no one to talk to. Like it's just you, and it's like half the time when you do centuries, either your headphones or your phone dies.
Yeah, I guess so.
So like
yeah.
you're all alone.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Yeah.
Lack of food and preparation will kill you too.
Everything you're
that was
talking
my
about sounds
problem.
miserable.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's close this thing out. I texted you. We do a top 5 list every week. This week's is your top 5 skills you'd like to learn. What's your number 1 skill you would like to learn?
Playing guitar for sure.
I knew
you
it.
kind of guessed that one.
Yeah, that's actually mine as well, but we haven't got there yet. But yeah, that's a good one. Levi, man, we've kept you a little longer than I expected. Appreciate you jumping on. Look forward to, I'll be watching this one on TV, but ML and Cade will be there. So, yeah, good luck this weekend, and thanks for giving us some of your time tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate you, boys, and good luck, Cade, this weekend.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
All right, Levi, be safe, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, see you guys.
All right, see ya. That's Levi Kitchen, brought to you tonight by FXR. Yeah, that was a good interview. If you guys were listening and heard a little buzz earlier, I thought it was his phone. Apparently, it's my dongle. My dongle is buzzing. How do we like that?
What's your worst physical thing, Jim?
Does it have to be like working out? Could it be riding?
It could be anything. It's
It would
anything
definitely be
physically
wild boar last summer, the GNCC.
where you thought you were dead afterwards.
Yeah, like I literally had to have help getting off the bike. I was blurry vision, legs were burning and numb with about, I don't know, a few miles to go. And I consider just laying over and dying in the woods or trying to roll out. It was actually scary because I didn't think I was going to make it, but I didn't really have any other choice.
So the first time I ever did that Mount Lemmon ride,
Yeah.
I tried to ride all the way to the top. I thought it would be like no big thing. I had 3 waters, snacks, all this shit. I made it to a point, and I'm like, I can't go any. Like I had stopped like 3 times. I ate snow at one point because there was still snow on the side of the road. I'm like,
This is going to cure me.
I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm fucking dying. And I was like, I can't go anymore. And I turned around and went back down. And I think I had like 6 or 7 miles left to the top. And so the next time it was like I had a general idea of where I was going, but it's just like the unknown of like how far you need to go is like the worst part.
Right. Yeah, I've never done a ride like that, so I'm not in the shape you guys are. That's really impressive. Our next guest of the night's lined up, and Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew continue to provide the best seats and foam available. If you want the same seats used by Rockstar, Husqvarna, Hep Suzuki, and many more, then you need Guts Racing. They have numerous color possibilities, staple or Velcro installation options, wing seats, and the best foam in the business with the Phantom Ultralight Seat Foam. Don't forget they have complete seats for the Talaria and the Super 73 and covers for the Suron and Segway. They strive to ship their orders within 36 hours, so visit gutsracing.com and order today Tonight, Guts Racing brings us from the Twisted Tea Progressive Insurance Hep Suzuki team, my guy, Kyle Chisholm. What's up, Chiz?
What's up going on? How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Just so you know, we got Michael Lindsay and Cade Clason in studio.
Cade's out. I'm out here.
Oh, dude, he crushed it, man. I don't know if we've been talking about this all night. He beat Hunter Lawrence.
To be fair, so
I know.
did Chiz.
What's that?
So to be fair, so did Chiz.
Yeah, well, Chiz is Chiz, man. He's the man.
Hey, we smoked him.
Dude, we
beat Lawrence.
put the work into him, man.
we beat Jet's brother.
Yeah, the brother of Jet Lawrence got beat.
Beat the Jet brother.
Yeah,
That's why I keep like people keep like, dude, you beat Hunter this week, and I was like, yeah, and so did the 3 dudes in front of me. Like, I don't know what you want me to say.
Like
man.
I expect that from Chiz, though. Chiz is the best ever.
Thanks.
He's the greatest of all time.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, totally.
All right, Chiz. So yeah, starting off the season quite a bit better than last year. How do you feel about your riding so far? Like, where do you feel? I mean, this is season 18, I believe, for you. And you're riding the best you ever have.
I don't know about the best I ever have, but it's been good. Yeah, well, I'll take it. To be honest, this weekend I rode terrible all weekend. I never got comfortable on the track. I don't know. I like the track to be like kind of slow. And you got to ride anything, obviously, right? Like you got to race what they give us. But I always prefer like a tighter, more technical, kind of slower kind of track. And that track was like, I mean, we went across the start like 4 times. Whatever. It was like,
yeah.
It was like, I felt like it was a track where if you could like hang it out a little bit, it would, play into your strength if that's kind of the way you ride. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I like to be able to be good on anything, but it definitely wasn't my favorite track. Didn't ride that good all weekend. But with all that said, for like kind of how uncomfortable and how I felt, just honestly, Cade probably say the same thing, but like just to be in the main event right now, most everybody's healthy and everybody's riding really good. And there's a lot of good guys. So just being in the main event obviously is like the first goal of the night, right? Because there's so many good guys. So just putting yourself in the main event is good. And then obviously once you're in there, just do your best. So yeah, to be honest, didn't ride that great, but all in all, like to be in the main event, get some points, get that 20 minutes, get that experience, is always good. So yeah, as bad as I felt, it's still a good weekend, being in the main event right now.
Yeah, going into the 2023 season, you guys the team had just kind of signed Ken Roxon. You were doing a lot of testing and developing for him, which might have put you behind the 8 ball a little bit. Was this year any better in that sense, or do you feel like still really your job is, part of your focus of your job is to make sure that, that the development's done for Kenny?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I still have to do that stuff, but it's been a little bit less of stuff to do now just because we have a year under our belt. I just tested a whole new engine a couple days ago. So like we're still always trying to make the bike better and just trying stuff. But I would say it's definitely better this year just because I don't have as much stuff to be testing and going through. But I would say the bigger thing is just having all that time. We have a whole season, right? A whole year of working together with the team and the bike. And we raced so long into the year. And Cade also did. We raced so long into the year with
wait a minute,
Supercross stuff.
Cade didn't. Cade went hunting instead.
I raced World.
He raced World Supercross. He was there. He was there.
Okay, sorry.
But you know what I mean? Like we raced so far. Like we didn't really have that much time off. But we have like 4 weeks off between Australia and Anaheim, something like that. So I feel like it was weird when I was gearing up for press at Anaheim. I was like, I don't want to like make this sound the wrong way, but like, not that I wasn't excited, but normally you have, and I said this to a few other people throughout the weekend, but like normally you have 2 or 3 months where you don't really see anyone. You're just at home training and, whatever. And then like, so you have all this like anticipation built up and you just worked all this off season. You're showing up to Anaheim and like, let's see where we're at. Right. Well, we raced so much into the year and barely had any time off that it kind of just felt like, okay, I'm just getting dressed again. Like not that I wasn't excited. There just wasn't all that like built up like emotion and like anticipation and like nerves. It was kind of just like gearing up for another race. Like it was weird. I've done a lot of Anaheims, obviously. And like I said, you're still getting nervous. Anaheim's still like special, but it just felt different this year because we raced so much last year and didn't really have much time off. So I think that was the biggest help, for me, like for this year is last year we didn't have a lot of time on the bike. I think we had like 4 weeks of actually riding the Suzuki last year
Right.
before the season started. So that not a lot of time mixed with trying to like just come up with settings and base settings and learning the bike and the team and Larry and us all like learning to work together. That was definitely tougher going into the year last year. But I had some deja vu the week before Anaheim this year because last year I was sick at Anaheim, like could not be off the toilet. Last year at Anaheim,
sick. I remember.
It was bad. I woke up Thursday morning and I was in California that whole week, breaking in race bikes and doing photo shoots and stuff like that. So I was staying at Aaron Pipes' house at Dustin's, his dad's house. And I woke up Thursday morning before we were going to drive down to Anaheim. And dude, on the toilet, like from the middle of the night, early Thursday morning, nonstop, like through Saturday. And I ended up trying to race the heat race. I pulled off. I just felt super weak. I couldn't even like see straight. I had no energy. I had the flu, stomach flu or something. And it's just miserable. So that's how my year started last year. Well, then this year I wake up middle of the night, like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, whatever, wake up on the toilet coming out of both ends. And it was miserable for like 2 days. But luckily it was like Sunday, Monday into Tuesday. So I had a little time to recover this year, but I was like, dude, again, like 2 years in a row, getting like stomach flu or something, something like that was just not fun. So I was like, I'm not starting the year off again like this, like I did last year.
Right.
But we turned it around for the weekend.
Well, then you had some flight issues, which, we had to rebook you from last week because your flight was delayed. So it wasn't easy.
Yeah, that's all, especially these days flying. Gosh, it's always, I feel like something, especially this time of year or that time of year, New Year's and Christmas and holidays. Yeah, everybody flying and it's a mess.
Chiz, do you think like this weekend they were like, oh, we're going to make the track easier because we want, everyone to be safe. And it was a relatively good weekend for that stuff. But like, in my opinion, when they make tracks easier, like it raises the speed. And like when it's easy, like, we almost don't have to think as much. Like we can just kind of like send it. And that's when like big crashes happen. And since you're going faster, the crashes have higher consequences. Like, do you prefer more technical, slower track? Like I know you said you like a more technical, slow track, and so do I. But like, do you think like that is a safer racetrack than say like these like I felt like this weekend was fast. Like both sets of whoops were fast. The big rhythm was fast. The only slow section was the rhythm section where we just doubled our way through there the whole time.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Like there's a fine line obviously of something being like too gnarly and too steep and too technical and too big. But for me, for the most part, I've always said that like when the tracks are easier, yes, like you said, that the speed is faster. So when you do make a mistake or things happen quicker, so you swap side to side, instead of whoops when you're going, they're super easy, but that just makes you push it even more, right? So you're trying to go faster and faster, and at some point there's a limit. But yeah, so you're going faster. It's going to hurt more when you hit the ground, obviously. But also, to me, when they're easier, you're going faster, but then you're also like pushing the edge more because we're all really good riders, right? Like people see us on TV, and then like sometimes people get to see us at local tracks or whatever riding. And like people might watch on TV and be like, oh, Jet Lawrence is so much faster than Kyle Chisholm or Cade Clason or whatever. But like, dude, if we all showed up at a local track, they'd be like, holy shit, those guys are fast as crap too, right? Like we're all fast at that level. And when you make the track that easy, there's like the Jet, there's those top guys. But then even like for a guy like you or me, like in that, say 12 to 20 range, right? Those guys are closer together than normal maybe, right? Like all the separation is just is a lot closer from top to bottom. So like if I want to beat you, in the track's kind of easy or whatever, or you want whoever, right? You can say whoever, you got to push it more, right? Because there's not as much places to make up time or to separate us or to to do something different or to one person to have a better skill than another rider to be able to use that, to pass somebody or be faster. That all gets kind of like dumbed down and watered down to where we have no choice but to just like, close your eyes and send it more. So to me, it makes everybody push the edge more. And that's, I think, you're going faster, you're pushing the edge more, and because you have to, because if you want to go faster than the next guy, you better ride the edge more, right? Because there's not that many places to make up the time
Right.
that you might need to. So yeah, to me, it kind of gets more dangerous the easier the track is. So the flip side, it needs to be built. There's a way to build it safely, but slower and steeper and more technical, where you got to kind of slow down and think more. And I think that's where sometimes the East Coast tracks, they get super gnarly and rutted, but everything gets slowed down. Like you're forced to be slowed down because you've got to think like, okay, what rut should I hit? Or like, this is getting really bad. I got to change my line here. Where when the track's easy, you just don't have to think that much. You just, pin it wide open and, just keep pushing it more and more and more. So yeah, to me, when it's easy, I feel like more apt to get hurt or have an injury because you're having to push it so much.
I was curious. I think last year it was decently well known that you were helping Kenny so much with his testing. So you're doing, your bike setup being new to the team. You're doing Kenny stuff. You guys are trading out bikes during the week. Now that you guys have both been there a year, guys have decided their direction, are you still kind of carrying that heavy of a testing load? Or are you still going back and forth with Kenny a lot? And in doing that, is there things you've learned from Kenny's setup that have actually helped yourself? And is there anything about his setup that is really hard for you when you go off his bike back on your own? Like, for instance, his really high rear brake pedal or anything like that that's really hard to get used to?
Yeah, that's the one thing I was going to say right there is the brake pedal.
When I rode his bike, that was the first thing. I almost went over. I literally drug the rear brake on his bike so bad off the jump face.
Yeah, I always tell him that. I'm like, dude, when I ride your bike, I have to like really be like paying attention to where my right foot is on the foot peg because I'm like terrified to step on the rear brake, like on a jump or something like that. So yeah, that is honestly probably the hardest thing to get used to when I hop on his bike and ride it. To be honest though, like for the most part, so I don't know if you noticed, me and Shane are on KYB suspension.
Yeah, he's on Showa.
And he's on Showa still. So and I don't even know, so I don't know exactly if I'm saying the right thing or whatever, but I believe we have some good support from KYB this year. We all chose KYB during the outdoors. Like when Freddie was on the team and, when Kenny raced the outdoors that he did and me as well. So we were Showa Supercross last year. And like I said, outdoors, we tested both and everybody chose KYB for outdoor stuff. So we kind of at that time, we're like, okay, I think this would be better for Supercross as well. So that's kind of what the direction the team went was, okay, for next year Supercross, we're going to, switch to KYB, and everybody liked it better for outdoors. Even, I don't know if you remember, but Kenny raced in the playoffs. Like he ran Showa in Charlotte, and then he ran KYB in Chicago, and then back on Showa at LA. And that's a weird thing. Like you would never see that from another top guy or whatever, like on a team. But that is how we felt, and like going through the year. And obviously the team's awesome about not letting us run whatever we want, but letting us run whatever we think is best. That help is going to help us do our best. So that's how it went. So we kind of went that direction. Well, part of kind of back to your question before about like this year being easier. So like I said, the year went so late last year with the World Supercross stuff going all the way until Thanksgiving, like the end of November. And we ran Showa stuff for the World Supercross races because that's what we ran Supercross last year with. And the bikes were shipped and they were gone. And we could have flown with KYB stuff, but it was just easier to stick with what we knew. The bikes were there. We didn't need to worry about, traveling internationally in suspension, getting lost or whatever. So we ran Showa all the way through World Supercross, like through almost till December, basically. So I haven't had a lot of time to test the KYB stuff. I've really only had the 3 or 4 weeks of December, with Christmas and, New Year's and stuff mixed in. So back to your question about testing with Kenny, we haven't had a lot of time to develop the KYB stuff. So I'm kind of going through that process right now. And part of what I was a little uncomfortable this weekend, I changed a bunch of stuff throughout the day, just suspension settings and stuff like that. So just trying to kind of just fine tuning, trying to find like that perfect setup. And, we found that last year on Showa. And so long story short, Kenny has not had enough time on the KYB stuff. He was like, dude, I love my bike. my bike worked so good last year, in Supercross with the Showa stuff. So he's just pretty much sticking with Showa, and he's tested a few little things here and there. But as far as suspension goes, he's pretty pumped. He's happy with his bike. And that's a pretty tough thing, for somebody to say about Kenny, looking back over the last, 6 or 7 years. He's always trying to, get the bike better or struggling with the setup. And we found something that he really liked last year. And he's like, I just want to stick with this. It's really good. So me and Shane are KYB, and we're just, Shane's happy with it. I'm still just trying to make it better and better. I think we'll get to a point where I hope anyways that Kenny get it good enough for him to try it and see what he thinks. But yeah, I haven't had to do a lot of testing because our base chassis setup is pretty similar. We did a few little changes in the off season that I kind of came up with and thought was better. Kenny tried it, liked it better as well. So we're pretty much set on that, and he's pumped with his suspension. So there's not a lot testing for him going on right now, which is a good thing. He can just focus on racing. And in the meantime, I'm trying to get the KYB stuff better and better. And maybe that'll happen in the future, with him, and he'll try it, but we'll just see how that goes.
One other thing I was curious about, the long schedule. I did joke in the press conference with Larry about the, what off season, because you guys had a long one, especially your team, especially your schedule. Originally, it was more that you were going to do Supercross and then World, but you did a couple outdoors, which turned into a lot more outdoors once the first World Supercross was off, and then SMX. Are you signed up for all of that again this year if it's all there, or did you reevaluate at the end of the season and think, man, this is just a lot?
It was a lot. Honestly, though, I enjoyed it. I haven't done the full outdoor series in a long time, and I honestly enjoyed it. I'd say some of the days in the summer in Florida were not that fun, but I honestly did enjoy just the challenge of doing outdoors again because it's been so long. So like almost 5 years, I think, since I really, I did a few races here and there the last 4 or 5 years, but never really, committed to it. And this year was still kind of a half-ass commitment for me to it because, like you said, it wasn't planned originally. But looking back, I honestly enjoyed it. So this year, that's the plan, is to do the full season. Last year, it wasn't originally just because the World Supercross stuff was supposed to start, originally like say June, July. And then, we only ended up doing the one race and everything got canceled and postponed and changed. And then when the whole playoff, SMX stuff got announced, it was like, dude, I want to do some more outdoors than I planned. So I still didn't plan on doing as many as I actually did. But then Marshall got hurt in Colorado and they were down to one guy, and I wanted to do more anyways. So I was like, hey, I'll do them. So that's, what we did this year, or this past year. So going into this year, yeah, that's the plan, is just do the full season, and then we'll be doing, I believe, I don't think they've done a schedule yet, but so I'll do SX, MX, and the playoffs, as long as I make it, and then do the World Supercross stuff whenever that's announced, and that whole plan is kind of made in place.
Kyle Chisholm tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing. Don't forget, gutsracing.com. Get you a gripper seat cover. It makes all the difference.
One other follow-up for that about doing outdoors now. So flashback 7-8 years ago in your career, I'm sure when you win outdoor racing, it was all about getting a result. You're probably racing for a ride the next year. You really cared about your result in that series. But now you're, primarily Supercross, World Supercross. Outdoors is sort of that gateway to get more points to SMX. Do you kind of have that mentality even when you go to outdoors? It's just like, okay, I'm just stringing together races because the total points are what matters. That gets me an SMX. That's where the money is. Or does the full racer side come out? Do you really care about your overall position in outdoors? Like, do you weigh that much every week, or is it just the points haul at this point?
I mean, both, I would say. Just being honest, the playoff thing, like you said, the money was really good for us to be into that. And if you were able to finish up in the top, 20 or 22, whatever
the money
it
was so good that Cade decided to go on vacation in the middle of it.
He's rich though, so he probably didn't need it or anything. So
still living off that pulp money.
But no, honestly, that was obviously one big part of it. I would say is just obviously get points, be out there to qualify for the SMX races, and obviously the team is going there, right, with Kenny. So I want to be there. They want me to be there as well. So it's okay. We need to go do these races and get points. So yes, on the bigger picture side, I want to get points. I want to just make sure I get myself into that and qualify myself into that. But then at the same time, I'm just not, I mean, obviously, which is probably why I've raced this long. And part of not what's wrong with me, but what's wrong with me in a sense is I am just competitive and I do want to go do good. So like, if I'm going to show up, I'm not going to show up and just ride around. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I'll be smart, for the most part, but it's hard to turn the racer off in whatever I want to, if I'm going to take off the gate and race, I want to compete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yes, you're there for the bigger picture to get the points and all that, but I still want to do good. I don't want to go suck. And, if I'm going to do that, I'll just stay home. Honestly, it's not that part of why I still race is because I enjoy the competitive side of it and just challenging myself. And like I said, this year, it had been so long since I really did like outdoors aside from just a race here and there that it was kind of like, I kind of started to kind of get in a groove and just enjoy it again, like the challenge and the motos and just the whole process. It's just such a different grind than Supercross. And it's definitely tough though. It's tough on the body. I don't know how many more years I would want to do that, but I did enjoy it this past year and I am looking forward to it again this year. And I feel like I kind of relearned outdoors to where now, like, I feel like I'll be better prepared going into outdoors this year, than what I was this year. So, yeah, but honestly, it is tough on the body. I'm not getting any younger. So that's something that I definitely had to manage throughout the year. I kind of had a knee issue start bugging me. Nothing like, not an acute injury, nothing that I hurt, but just old injuries that were just starting to kind of flare up and hurt. So I had to kind of manage that and deal with that. So obviously I have to keep an eye on that this year and, just kind of see how that's going. But
yeah,
that is the downside of the outdoor stuff is it is a grind. It's tough on you for sure.
I mentioned at the beginning of this thing that this is your 18th season. Your first season was 2004, and it's actually one race at Steel City. Then you did 3 in 05 and then went full-time in 06. And you somewhat answered this, but I kind of want to know like how your goals have changed, what your expectations, how they've changed. And you said you still enjoy the grind at times, but how that whole process has changed for you, from 04 to 2024. So it's actually, I guess, closer to 20 years.
Yeah, I think this is my 19th year of Supercross.
So
06 was my first Supercross year. Yeah, 04, I raced Loretta's, and then I just did Steel City. It was like, I think the last national or whatever after Loretta, so I just did my first pro race, which was kind of custom back then. Like, you go back and see RC, what was his first pro race? He was number, 768 on a Cowie, pro circuit bike, whatever, at Steel City. Like, that was his debut, was there. So that was kind of the way to go back in my day, a couple decades ago. So yeah, I did that race in 04. I actually got hurt really bad. Actually, I was hurt before that during the year. I broke my arm, and I actually raced unknowingly. It was still broke, never healed right. Did Loretta's, did that first national, and then I was home like a month later and re-broke the arm. It just never healed right.
Yep.
So then long story short, I did that first pro race, kind of riding hurt, from the beginning of that year. It re-broke. So I was out for a lot of the next year as well. So I kind of just did a couple nationals again and raced the Canadian nationals. And then 06 was my first Supercross year. It should have been 05, but that injury kind of delayed me another year. And so 06 was that first year. But man, I think this is my 19th year of Supercross, and it's just so different than it was back then. The bikes, the tracks, everybody racing. It's just different. It's just evolved, and I think that's something that, again, just the competitiveness in myself, just by nature, like how I am, like the challenge of it's not like, okay, I'm here on year 19, like I made it, like I can just kind of cruise this in. It's like, no, dude, you got to keep getting better. You still got to get better because everybody else is getting better.
Right.
And like the sport in general is better. So that it's always fun for me just to learn. Like I'm still learning. Like I go to the track every day trying to learn something new. What can I do better? Or what do I need to work on? And studying other riders, Jet and everybody, Anderson, Webb, Tomac, Kenny, like they're just studying the way guys do stuff. I'm somebody, I know anybody that's a James Stewart fan, he always talked about, back in the day, like studying a lot of film. And he was, one of my best friends growing up. He was like a brother. We spent, every day together for the most part, growing up. So I kind of got that from him. Like I still go to bed at night studying film, studying tape. I think I've watched the race from Anaheim 1. Like, gosh, I've probably watched the race 5 or 6 times.
Wow.
Since this past weekend.
I'm sure Brittany loves that.
Oh, she hates it. I go to bed at night with the TV on, and she's like, turn the TV off. I'm like, no, I'm watching TV. I'm watching the race. So, I just, I love that. Like, I think I'm just a student of the sport, right? I really enjoy it and just try to learn. So I think that's something that's been the same about me since then. But it's just so much has changed, but then so much stays the same. I've just learned a lot, like training, like what matters, what doesn't matter. What I need to focus on, what doesn't matter, what's like, you see other guys that are so like, oh, I got to do this to be a good dirt bike rider or whatever, this type of training or whatever it is. And different stuff works for different people, but I've just learned, what works for me. And I think, what's important. I've been fortunate to work with a lot of other successful people and being around a lot of other successful people in our sport to just pick up bits and pieces from them and learn. And like I said, again, that's something that I think's kept me going is all that stuff, learning and enjoying that. Yeah.
When I look back, 2004, your first pro race, the thing that strikes me is you used to have to kickstart your bike back then. Do you remember that?
I still do. I still do today. keeping it everything the same.
Yeah. All right, let's close this thing out. I sent you a text about our top 5, and I just want to get the number one skill you would like to learn in your lifetime, something that you want to do.
This was tough. Only because I'm like, so it was tough at first. Then I started thinking, I'm like, okay, I can come up with some stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I'm somebody that I like to learn. Cade, I know like does house stuff, whatever. But like, dude, like I could never tell you how to put like a floor and baseboards in a house or whatever. But then like, so if I want to learn a skill, I'm like, well, I'll just learn. Like I'll watch a YouTube video. I'll do
Sure.
this. I'll learn from somebody. So like, usually if there's something I want to learn how to do, I'm like and this is to a fault. Like sometimes I should probably just let other people do something, but I'm like, oh, Brittany, you want new floors in the room? Okay. Well, I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out. I'll do it myself. So like, I do enjoy like learning new stuff too. So usually if there's something I want to learn, I just go do it. Right. Like just try it. Mm-hmm. But, some stuff that I would like to learn at some point in my life, I don't know if I ever will, but stuff that I absolutely suck at and have zero talent or skill at is one, you said in the text, but literally playing any musical instrument, like primarily I would say a guitar if I could just pick one. I literally have zero skills. Like the coordination and all that, like I feel like I could, like I kind of am like nervous to ever try that because like I don't think I'll ever figure it out. Like it just doesn't make sense to me the way it works, whatever. So yes, playing an instrument was one. One that is whatever. I like golfing, but I want to know how those freaking PGA guys drive it 350 yards. Like I'm like, dude, I crushed that one. It'll be like 260, 270. I'm like, I can't get the ball to go any farther than that. So I want to learn how to drive a golf ball 300 yards.
Chiz, you have like the perfect teacher for that. You know that, right?
Dude, I know, but you let me know the time between me and him to go get a lesson. Whatever.
Well, if you quit racing all year,
right.
you might have an off season and be able to go do that.
Yeah, bro. Sometimes you got to do a little me time. You should take a note from Cade's playbook.
Again, Cade just skipping out on all that money to go camping, really focusing on
Literally.
What a guy.
It's true.
What a guy.
Hey, not to get off topic, but I did kind of do that. Like 19, 20, 21, like those years, I literally, I got bored. I did do a couple of outdoors, but for the most part, like, I don't remember, it might've been 20, no, I was 21, I think. Dude, I didn't ride a motorcycle, do anything for like 2 months, like literally nothing for 2 months. I was fixing up our one house, our rental house and doing all that stuff. And again, back to skills, I had no idea how to do any of that kind of stuff. And I just learned, figured out how to do it all. But I took that time off. I had a few years of that. And I'm like, now I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the word. I'm just drawing a blank. I can't think of the word right now, but I'm like, I see the end, right? Like I can't race forever. I'm like, okay, I got to just fit all this in now. Like, cause I'm not going to do this forever. It's like, let's just race as much as I can and then I'll be done, whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
But, anyways, back to skills. So yeah, like a guitar, any instrument, I need to drive the ball farther. And then, gosh, I'm trying to find in my notes. I wrote some down earlier.
That's fine. You don't have to give us all 5. I just wanted the top 2. So yeah, that's good.
I have some other good ones. Oh, dancing, dude. The only time you'll catch me dancing is if I've had too many drinks.
Sure. Yeah.
I cannot dance. But then like I have a wife that can dance. I have my baby obviously isn't. She's not even a year old. But my other two girls do dance competitively. So like I'll go out and like, dude, I ain't dancing. The only way I'm dancing is if I've had too much to drink, and I just don't mind that I look like an idiot.
Right.
But I cannot dance.
Same.
At some point, it'd be cool to learn how to dance. It's probably a skill I'll never learn because I'm white and I have no rhythm and no moves.
Yep,
But,
same reason you
yeah,
can't play
I
guitar,
wish I
man.
could.
Yeah, I'm
Exactly,
I'm the
yeah.
same. I'm exactly the
yeah.
same. All right, Chiz, this has been a lot of fun, dude. I always enjoy having you on, and just look forward to. I'll be watching you on TV. These other two will be in San Francisco, and yeah, good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Ready for some mud, Cade, right? Ready for some mud?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's what it's looking like. I like it, though. I always enjoy the mud race, especially when I don't have to clean it. after.
Right,
So,
yeah.
I went and bought a new scooter to put in the semi because everything's
I think
so
ML
far,
did too.
Because everything's so far away this
So
weekend.
far.
Dude, I know it's gonna be. I don't remember that. Like I raced there back in the day, like when we raced in that stadium. I don't remember it being like that, but I think they said there's been a bunch of construction.
Yeah,
They built a new
since back
apartment.
then. So
Yeah, they built
Yeah,
new apartments
yeah.
where the old parking lot is. Yeah.
yeah,
Like when they said there's a shuttle from industry
parking, yeah.
parking to the pits, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
out. So
yes, exactly, dude. I was like, maybe there's a red eye I can catch home, and then I'm like, yeah, there's not going to be because I'm going to be waiting on a shuttle to get back to my rental
Right.
car or something to try to pin it to the airport.
yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, that ain't happening. But yeah, should be fun. We'll have some fun.
Well, thanks for your time, Chiz. It's always great talking to you, and yeah, good luck this weekend, and you hopefully you and Cade both make it in the main again.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
Thanks,
buddy.
guys. I appreciate it.
Yep, talk to you soon.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Cade, what's your best Kyle Chisholm story while I work on getting AP on the line?
Ooh.
Because you were on HEP at the same time he was, right?
I've
Together.
never been on HEP.
Oh, it was A-Ray, and you were just at the truck all the time. But give me your best Kyle Chisholm story anyway.
Man, you know what's weird is I didn't really grow up with Chiz because he's a lot older than me.
Yeah.
But I raced his brother
Easy now.
a lot.
Oh, Kyle.
Easy now, because I'm older than Chiz, so easy.
Well, I mean, you're a lot older than me.
What is Kyle's birthday? I'm losing my brain.
You know what? He was talking. I was going to ask him a question, but I can't remember his name. But his brother used to rip. Like
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
brother was like, almost a better prospect than
I'll tell you what,
he
we'll
was.
get back to your story. We got our next guest on the line. He answered pretty quick. He's been waiting because we were running late, but I'll
Okay.
get back to that story, okay?
Cowboy.
Next guest of the night is brought to you by Troll Training. Troll Training is the culmination of a combined 3 decades spent in the trenches of the professional motorsport scene, refining training methods, learning, absorbing, and training alongside some of the best in the business. Alex Martin and John Wesson have expert guidance in helping you navigate the many nuances of training, including periodization, endurance, strength, and conditioning, riding technique, on the bike structure, nutrition, and more. Visit trolltraining.com to find out the different options and packages available. Troll Training is working wonders for me. Tonight, Troll Training brings us from the Red Bull Factory KTM, one of the absolute favorite riders in the pits, Aaron Plessinger. What's up, AP?
What is going on, my man?
Man, we're just sitting here. I got Michael Lindsay in studio, Cade Clason in studio. We're having a good time. Been waiting to talk to you.
Right on, right on. What's going on, boys?
Dude, we're just talking about A1, but actually, since we got AP on, ML, Cade Clason, where do you think AP falls? I feel like there's a podium of most popular riders in the industry right now. And in my opinion, it's AP, probably Jet, and Hayden Deegan. Those are probably the fan favorites. Where does AP fall? I think number one, as far overall all age groups. I feel like Hayden's really loved by younger guys. It's kind of Jet's probably more like the girls, but I think everybody loves AP. You don't hear hate on AP.
No, there's no AP.
You hear hate on Hayden. You hear hate on Jet.
I think
hates
there's more
AP.
of like a current Mount Rushmore because
Yeah.
I think you got to have Kenny on there.
Yeah, Kenny.
Oh yeah.
You got to
Wow,
have
I
Kenny.
forgot about Kenny.
Shit.
Yeah,
well, then
what a guy.
we're bumping Hayden off then.
No, well, I mean that's why I said Mount Rushmore.
Well, to,
right?
to
'Cause
your
there's
point with
4.
AP, though, is even Kenny, like, nothing against him. There are some people that don't like Kenny.
Yeah.
There are people that don't
Not
like Hayden.
many
There
anymore
are
though.
It's still 50-50. So, but like, not 50, sorry, 50-50 was rude. No, but he does have some people that don't like him. Hayden's got love and hate.
Yeah.
Jet, some people are sicker. Again, to your point, does anybody say anything negative about the Cowboy?
No.
Nothing. No.
Like I feel like the Taliban likes AP.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't think don't say that's the most American guy here.
Yeah. Hey, we went and got those motherfuckers.
Yeah. All right, AP, A1, baby. 4th place, crushing it. I feel like just every year you're getting better and better and better and sneakily better.
Yeah, man. I feel really, really good this year. It's been a short off season, but the off season that I have had, it's been great. I mean, I've been out here testing a little bit, and then yeah, I mean, the boys have really done their homework. They got the bike dialed in, and yeah, I've just been grinding away. And I've told a lot of people this is the best I've felt since I started in 450s, and I believe it. It's coming around. I just gotta figure out how to go around the first corner, and I'll be all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm feeling really, really good, man.
Awesome. We like to see it.
AP, I caught some slack the other day because I play team leader over there a little bit, and like I try to know the ins and out of my motorcycle, and I even pay attention to like what the younger guys are doing so I can try and help them. Because like I've been around, like sometimes I may forget how to actually ride, but I have a general idea of what I'm doing. And I was giving Hunter crap because I was asking him about the differences between his practice and his race bike and this and that. And he basically has no clue. And I'm like, man, you got to know the difference in this and that. And he looks at me and he goes, did you hear what AP said in the press conference? And I'm like, no. He's like, that dude doesn't even know what tires he's riding. And I was like, are you? I was like, what?
Yeah. Well,
like,
I feel like he was asked about the frame, and I kind of feel like he didn't want to answer it.
That's fair. That's fair. But
I'm not
and
sure
I would assume AP probably knows more than that.
Now we know the Hunter is gullible as hell.
But I was like, to some guys, it's almost easier to like not think about that stuff because it's like if you're constantly thinking about your bike, then you're not thinking about what you're riding, you know, and how to go faster. Like maybe that works better for you. You know, it doesn't work better for me, but you know, to each its own. So like, do you really like try to just let the boys worry about your bike and you strictly worry about like, hey, I need to worry about going fast all the time?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't lying when obviously, dude, I know I'm on Dunlops, obviously, but like, cause people, dude, I had this one dude come up to me and he was like, oh, dude, you're on Dunlops. I was like, yeah, I know. Like, I've been on Dunlops for like the last 20 years. But like, if you ask me like what spec tire I'm running, like I have no idea. I don't know. I know there's like a 120 and a 110 and like a 100 maybe, but I have no clue what I'm on. And then yeah, I mean I don't really like to play like to read up on it per se, because then I would get so lost that I wouldn't know where I'm at. I would be telling, I'd probably be telling them the opposite stuff that I needed and go in the wrong direction. So I just keep it simple and just ride the bike, whatever they give me, and
twist the throttle.
Yeah, if it's good, it's good. If it's not, I'll just let them know.
Fair enough.
I got to tell you, last year at Dallas, my dad brought my nephews, and you took the time to meet my dad, and you're his favorite guy, and he never listens to the show, and he just texted me. He said, "Yeah, the Dale Jr. of Moto." So my dad's watching my show. I've been doing the show for like, I don't know, 10 years now. So he's watching tonight because you're on. So yeah,
awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's great, and we're talking about this fan favorite stuff. So I got to tell you guys a story in studio. My buddy from Texas, Eric Radford, he's a real cowboy, like rodeo guy. His wife got him tickets to come to A1, first time he's ever been for his birthday. He's standing in line, waiting to meet AP, his favorite rider, and somehow this video crew that works for Supercross sees him with the big cowboy hat, and they decide they want to mic him up, and he ends up getting invited down for opening ceremonies to hold AP's cowboy hat. Like, it was the best night of his life. We went to dinner after the race. He just talked about it all night, how he wants to be I guess he wants to work on your ranch that you're going to buy, AP, and teach you to ride bucks or bucking Broncos and all that stuff. He is, dude, you made this dude's night, and you really are. You're just the best in the industry. They're like, McGrath is the coolest guy on the planet. You're the nicest guy in the industry by far.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that was cool what he did. He got to he got to come down and we have a little case that we carry my hat down so it doesn't get ruined. And he got to carry the case. He got to hand me my hat as I was going out for opening ceremonies. And yeah, it was a cool little deal that the guys set up there. So it was fun.
Yeah, and you also took a few extra seconds in the autograph line to say hi to him, and that means a lot to me.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was a good day.
Well, thank you.
Well, hearing you say that there's a case for the hat, I'm kind of curious now. Like, how many hats are there? Is the one you wear that can get dirty? Is there one you can take is there one you keep at home for the practice track, or is there truly only one hat?
No. So I have I just hung all my hats up not too long ago. I think I have probably 8 at home, and then I have 4 that stay on the truck. 2 of them are straw hats, and 2 of them are felt hats. So usually the felt hats come out when the colder weather comes and your head doesn't want to get cold, and then the straw hats, like I use I'm pretty sure I used a straw hat this weekend, and yeah, I got 4 on the truck and then probably 8 or 9 at home.
I really thought it was Stephanie McNutt told me it was 1, and I thought it was like Slash. She's got 1 top hat, and yeah.
I would really like to see Alpine Stars give him a set of spurs for his boots for opening ceremonies.
Dude, yeah,
That'd be cool.
they could do a set that looked like cowboy boots almost. Yeah,
Yeah, even if they're little clip-ons, just for opening ceremonies.
Sure.
Just add to flavor. Can we request that? Who do we need to hit up? We need to get on this.
We've talked about it. We've talked about it a little bit, but nothing has ever came of it. So I might have to work on it this year.
You know what's funny about
get that going this year?
You know what's funny about that is my dad's a horse trainer, and like AP and I have known each other since we were kids. But like the whole spur thing, like I go to a horse show and I'm like the most out of place person in the world. But like when my dad walks with his spurs on, like it's made the same noise. Like just like how he walks, it's made the same noise since I was 6. So like he could be walking from a mile away, and I know that guy's coming. And everyone at the horse show knows he's coming because he walks like such an idiot sometimes. It's so funny. Like that's just what we need is we'll hear that freaking clickety clack coming, and we'll all know it's AP.
I'm trying to think because you got cowboy boots for track walk. Same thing. Do we got spurs for track? I mean, how much more in depth can we get here?
Let's get this going. We need some spurs for AP.
Yeah, we might have to work that out. I might have to take a trip to Boot Barn here soon.
What a plug, dude.
How do you not have that as a personal sponsor?
Kidding.
Wait, you do?
Well, I did. I did something. It wasn't Boot Barn company, but it was. They have like this kind of like not off brand. It's their brand, but it's called Boot Barn Just Country.
Yeah.
And yeah, they did a little thing, and they did a little photo shoot, and I got some boots, and the family got some clothes last year. So
Nice.
Maybe Boot Barn, the Soul Company, will take notice here soon.
Hey, AP, you're breaking up just a little bit. I don't know if you're on Wi-Fi or just in a bad spot.
You know.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Thank
You know, this one I was just
Okay.
thinking about. There was a lot of talk about the Lawrence Brothers fan activations
Yeah.
on this weekend. I'm trying to picture what an AP one would look like. Would it have like a
dude.
mechanical bull?
Yeah, in a barn.
Have a little bar up there.
Some hay. Yeah.
Well,
Well, they can just bring the tough blocks
dude.
in.
Yeah,
Bro, you'd make so much more money than they would. Let's do that.
Come on. I was thinking of rider lists this weekend. Somebody brought that up of riders that could pull that off, and I didn't even think about it right now. You need one. You could do
Dude,
this.
his line was huge.
I know.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I mean, if you can picture Loretta Lynn's the beer tent just miniature,
Yeah.
Yep.
that would be mine.
I'm trying to think of the country singer with the famous bar. I was saying we could have like an off-brand
There's a
version.
couple of them, but Nashville. What?
Jason Aldean.
Just-
has one.
yeah,
Well,
Aldean-
Dean's got one, but more old school. I'm losing my brain here.
Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson.
Thank you.
There you go. You knew he
Yeah.
would know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Speaking of Nashville, last year I saw you didn't get to it. Do you have something? I know that's ways in the season. Not to jump too far ahead, but I'm guessing you have to have something pretty special planned for Nashville.
I'm working on it. We're drawing it up, and we're gonna get something really, really special because I had something really special for that race, and unfortunately, freaking went down the weekend before and couldn't race that race. So we're gonna do something up for that one, and maybe Dallas as well.
Nice. Let's talk a little bit about the racing. Again, you said this is the best you felt since you went on 450s. What is it about this season? Like I said, you've progressed every year. Is it just the time, or have you figured something out, physically within off the bike training? What has made the biggest improvement?
So the biggest thing's the bike. I feel so comfortable on the bike, and I haven't changed. I haven't strayed away from more than maybe 3 clicks here, 3 clicks there in the past probably 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the biggest thing. My body, man, I don't know if I can credit it to training. I don't know. I trained I think it was 50 weeks last year. I think I took 2 weeks fully off, and that was it. And I don't know if that has something to do with it too, but I don't know. I just feel really good. I had a really good off season, didn't miss many days, and yeah, I just feel rejuvenated and really good right now.
And on the bike, we were hearing early from the Baker's factory that Mookie's, flying at the test track, and then it sort of shifted. And we started hearing APs flying at the test track. And on Pulp, I think is where I heard it. That I guess Christian had told somebody, you were the man. You were the guy going the fastest the last few weeks. Just through training camp, did you find something with the bike that kind of made a change? How much improvement did you make in the last 2 months?
Yeah. So, when we were out here for that KTM intro thing, yeah. So when I was testing then, I was starting to ride all right at the factory, and then when I came out, then it was, man. I think we did test the frame, and we did some maybe little suspension changes, but when I went back from here, I don't think I had a bad day. Since I went back. It was crazy. It was awesome. It felt great. And since then I've been motoring, man.
I like it. Yeah. We saw it Saturday night. That was pretty impressive. Cade?
I know you had I don't think, was it last year or the year before you did really good in Oakland? I think it was 2 years ago. You got second.
2 years ago.
Yeah, because we didn't race in Oakland last year. Wasn't Oakland?
No, we did.
No, we did. We got back.
Oh, yeah, we went back to Oakland. That's right. I'm an idiot.
But anyways, are we hoping that they bring over that dirt over to the new stadium and that it's just a complete mutter this weekend? Because let's just all be honest here. We all know we love AP in the mud, but you've always rode good at Oakland in that dirt.
Yeah, man, I really hope so. That dirt has always been really soft. It's been rutted. I don't think there was a Supercross that I can remember that I raced where it wasn't muddy, or not muddy, rutted.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the Indianapolis of the West Coast. And I don't know. I love it. I've always gelled with that dirt. I've always rode really good on it. And yeah, with the chance of rain this weekend, it's looking up for me.
I got an email here. We do our emails later, but this one was specifically for you. So I want to hear your thoughts here. This guy, the 13th J on Instagram, does AP know he can be champion? Seriously, when he is on, he is as fast as anyone on the track. Can he know and ride like it is the question. Roger and everyone else wants him to answer. Let the riding do the talking. So what do you think, man? Do you like I know you believe you can win a race, right? I mean, Detroit, heartbreaker, it was there. Do you believe you can win a championship?
I do this year. Like I said, this is the best year I've felt, and I'm really, really confident right now. And I was one of the only ones that made passes on Saturday night, and like I said, if I can figure out how to go around the first corner without the front end washing, I'm there.
Yeah.
And the first few laps, like I was not pacing Jet, but watching Jet, and he wasn't pulling away from me at all until I made a few mistakes, and that was just because I was trying too hard to catch Chase. I was trying too hard to get the dude in front of me, and I should have kind of calmed down a little bit and just hit my marks. But no, I definitely do. I do believe that I can be champion, and yeah, I'm thinking I'll prove it this year.
Ah, great.
I was curious, AP. I mean, you've only had one race, Chase technically as your teammate, but is there a difference between him and Webb? Like, is one of them more serious than the other in the terms of how the team works with him? Do you notice a little bit of a different atmosphere in the truck, how the guys deal with him? Do you notice it much, or I mean, is it really any different with two top-level guys like that?
I don't really see any difference in that aspect. But I've known Coop since I've known both of them since we were really young, and I got to train with Chase and Coop. So I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like there is too much different that the team does with either of them. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's the same, but I also don't see them like all day through race day.
Oh, yeah.
They're all like they're completely different, but they're almost the same on race day, I would say.
It's interesting because we think about guys like Eli and Chase and Kenny, and they stay in their motorhome. You don't see them. If you're a fan walking around, you don't really see them out a lot, except for when they have to be. And AP's right there with them, but he's out there like hanging out with the crowd when he can, and he'll walk up and sign autographs even when it's not autograph time. And it's just a different mentality on race day, but it seems to work for AP. And again, that's why he's on the top step of the fan favorites.
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Is that your camper? I know we were parked right in front of you guys. Do you have a motorhome now, or is that Chase's?
Right in front,
No,
but like 300 feet away.
Yeah, that's Chase's. That's Chase's motorhome. Mine's a fifth wheel. Mine'll be at the East Coast rounds. My father-in-law drives it around. So
okay.
if I told him to drive it out here, he would. But my mother-in-law would probably kill me, and well, I'm not ready for that just yet.
I remember like Chase, like when he was sharing the semi with Ken, he was like, "No, I don't want a motorhome. Like Ken has his motorhome, so he just uses the semi." So like if Chase has his motorhome, it's like you basically have the whole upstairs and that thing to yourself. Like it's basically a motorhome. Like you don't even. Like, does Juju share because you guys have, dude, KTM had like 6 semis there this weekend. I don't know if you guys know.
Juniors and everything.
Do you and Juju share that thing, or?
Yeah, but like this weekend, I didn't really go up in there. We do have bunks. We have 3 bunks, and I use it to, store all my stuff. But, other than when it's like really cold, I don't really go up in there and like hang out because it kind of secludes me, and I don't do well with being secluded and being like alone. I like to be out. Yeah, I like to be out and hanging out. So so I was getting dressed outside of the truck but yeah, Juju was up there getting dressed and stuff.
AP, you can't see the look on Cade's face, but I don't know if this is the fact versus prior. When you said the 3 bunks, he kind of moaned under his breath a little bit.
It's just like we got a new semi this year, and it is so much nicer. And I'm like, dude, I've been in super nice semis. Like you have your own bunk to go to like take a nap. Like, God, that would be so nice.
Hey, how nice is it, again, to Julian, though, you don't have like 1,800 teammates this year to trip over all their stuff?
Oh, no, dude. Well, it's nice because like we have like a cool crew that's like, hey man, we're not getting dressed outside. We're not having all of our gear bags laying everywhere. Like, we're going to look legit. And it's way nicer over there right now. So it's,
and meanwhile,
nice.
you hear AP over here being factory going, I don't like really getting dressed up top.
Yeah, I'm going to sit outside. But you know what? Like, AP's an adult, and he probably keeps his crap picked up and doesn't have to get yelled at
Are you
by
organized,
Roger.
AP?
Or is it your wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, like I don't like having a mess. It kind of freaks me out. I'm not like OCD, like I'll throw stuff, but I don't like having my place a mess.
Oh yeah, no, I'm OCD. Like, I only have one shelf in my locker, and it's not enough space for my stuff.
Right.
And it's just like stacked on top. It
Drives you crazy.
It stresses me out looking in there every time.
Yeah. Hey, I want to go back to Detroit for 1 second. I hate to make you rehash this, but I know it was a heartbreaker, and I cannot imagine what it felt like. But what I want to know is, how much did you learn from that situation, and how much more did it motivate you? Obviously, it made you like I know I can do this, but how much motivation was it, and what did you learn from it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I learned how to pretty much win a Supercross race. I led on, I think it was like 23 or 24 laps.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, like, you know, another lap was nothing, and I had it in the bag if I didn't make that little mistake. So yeah, I mean, it taught me how to win a Supercross race, and yeah, it taught me that I was one of the guys. I wasn't just, you know, up there by luck or by, you know, chance. It was the whole race, and everybody was behind me, and I did it. So yeah, that's another thing. It just made me believe even more that I was one of the top guys, and that I could beat the rest of the field if I got a good start.
I love that answer. We're going to close this thing out with a couple personality type questions. We know you're a big country music guy, but me being a metalhead rock guy, I want to know what your favorite rock and roll band is.
My favorite rock and roll band.
Yep.
Like newer age.
Doesn't matter. Whatever you'd go to.
Yeah, I would say Five Finger Death Punch would be like my newer age kind of rock. Mm-hmm. And then Skinner for sure.
Okay. All right.
Skinner.
I like those. What do you think about Whiskey Myers?
Whiskey Myers is sick.
Yeah.
I do like those guys. I like them, and there's another one. I can't think of it right now, but
I feel like Whiskey Myers
sounds kind of similar to them that I really like.
Those guys are from right down the road from where I live, and I feel like they're a modern day Skynyrd. Like, they're a southern rock country band, and yeah, they're carrying on that legacy.
Yeah, for sure. They actually, I think they commented on one of my posts one time.
No way.
I'm pretty sure they followed me or something. I don't know. It was last year sometime, and I was freaking out about it.
That's
remember.
Cool. That's really cool. All right, let's close this out with the text I sent you. What's the number one skill you would like to learn?
I would say probably to learn how to play golf better. Right now, I'm losing a box full of balls every time I go out. I would like to, you know, slim that down to maybe like half a box, or, you know, maybe a sleeve around or something like that. Just keep a few more balls on the course.
Love it. AP, it is always so much fun and a pleasure to talk to you. And you're always very, very welcome on the show. And thank you so much for being the guy you are.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It's always a good time with you guys. And we'll see you guys this weekend.
Sounds good, AP. Have a good night. See you soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Later, buddy.
Aaron Plessinger, brought to you tonight by Troll Training. Always a good time.
I love the fact that everybody else gets just asked their music question, but with him, you had to go to rock because you just didn't want to hear a country answer.
Well, no.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, but that's what he would have said.
Yeah, I know,
like,
and that's why
his
he had to shut it down. He could not hear anything about country on his show.
Man, I don't know why you got that.
Everybody else, it was so obvious. You let everybody else just be Nope. Had to thin down.
I had to lead it a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow,
Eat it. You put
I
him in a
suck.
box.
I suck.
Put the man in a box.
Put him in a box. All right, let's get into some of these segments. Let's start with the X Brand Forum check-in. X Brand is your choice of clear vision and a leader in motocross and off-road goggles. X Brand is used by many of the top GNCC riders, including the 2023 XC1 champion Craig Long, 2023 National Hare and Hound XC1 champion Dalton Shirley, 2023 AMA National Enduro champion Grant Baylor, Lyndon Snodgrass, as well as motocross, supercross, and arena cross riders like Kyle Chisholm, Freddie Noren, Henry Miller, Michael Hicks, Richard Taylor, Jerry Robin, and more. Visit eksbrand.com or go to your local dealership and ask for X Brand goggles distributed through WPS. The X Brand Forum check-in tonight is one that I found. It's titled, I think Dazzy said it best, ... And it was posted by Omar_J. Did you watch that video?
Yeah, the interview from Gay Drop where Dazzy said, guess what, motherfuckers, he is that good.
Yeah, basically, it's about people doubting Jet and getting upset at everybody talking about how good he is. I want to get your thoughts. Really what I want to touch on is sort of what we talked about a little bit at the beginning of the AP thing is, why is there hate for guys like a Jet or a Hayden? I know there's a lot of hype, and we talk about them all the time, but you think that's all it is? It's too much talk?
No, and the hard part is I think everybody automatically turns to, if you don't praise somebody, it's you hate them. But like this got brought up on me and Lewis talking about in the post race about them talking about Jet already for the 72 thing. Do I think Jet can get there? Of course. Like,
he's capable,
he's
for
very,
sure.
very capable. Let it happen. I just don't. It's not that I don't think it. It's just like, okay, like he is that good. We do talk about him a lot. And I also at the same time don't, like, even from a personal standpoint, I don't want to get burnt out on him almost. Like even myself. So do I think he's absolutely amazing? Of course, all the respect in the world. I think he's amazing for the sport. I love watching him race. Like, I am a fan. So I think sometimes that gets misinterpreted because people, again, downplaying. There are people that are just idiots to think somehow he wasn't going to do good. But, like, some of us have picked our riders. It's just like, hey, it is his rookie race. Something could happen. Maybe not. Maybe it will. Yes, he went perfect outdoors, but I'm going to wait and see. And he's probably going to prove me wrong, and I'm excited to watch it. But, again, that's a little more hate in Jet. I really don't, and maybe I just look in the wrong places. I don't see a lot of hate for Jet. I just see people that kind of always like, hey, I just want to watch and see what happens.
Yeah, I think what I see the most is, like, they're tired of Supercross, Feld, whatever, shoving it down our throats. Everything's Jet, the Lawrence brothers, blah, blah, blah.
And if it's true,
it's marketing.
But still, I think the hard part is like, okay, he's getting around. They're pushing it so hard. They're doing like Feld when they want to, and NBC and everybody can do a great job of marketing a rider. Let's market some other riders that aggressively. Then if we're going to do that, if you're going to put some effort into it, let's put some effort into some more guys. Let's not put all the eggs in one basket. And if it's true, what Steve tweeted that they were going to put Jet as the last person opening ceremonies over Chase. If there's any truth to that, I want to smack somebody in the face. And good on Dazzy and those guys for giving like Chase being the defending champion, like
his moment.
Yeah, his moment, because he deserves it. I mean, Jet is going to be there one of these days. Could be next year he might be champion this year. If not this year, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep saying with it, it's going to happen. It's not, I am definitely not on the boat of Jet can't do it. Like, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen a lot.
I think so. Any thoughts on it, Cade?
I kind of want to go with what Michael said, that it's almost like debate rather than hate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's anybody out there that can, with a straight face, say Jet isn't good.
Or with any kind of mental sanity.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure,
or like
absolutely.
say they suck,
No.
whatever it is. With that being said, I think people just want to debate things, right? And have a discussion and, say this is better than that for this reason, or this is why this might happen. I don't love what Dazzy said, if that's true.
Okay,
I mean, I didn't see this video that you just quoted.
He basically, and I sort of paraphrase it,
it's almost word
to word. And he was just saying for people that have completely doubted his kid, because the question was like people that have said your kid couldn't do it.
Personally, like, I don't know anyone that could say that with like a straight face and actually be serious about it.
Yeah.
He's always been good. Like, he was sketchy his first year in Supercross as like a rookie in the 250 class when he was like 16. Big whoop. But other than that, like, he's been really good.
But there were definitely people saying, well, once he gets to Supercross 450 class, it's not going to be like that.
And I don't think he's going to be like he was this weekend. Like, this isn't outdoors. And I truly don't believe he's going to be able to just walk over these guys every single weekend. But he is really good.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think there's a good shot that he wins this. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's up in the air. But I truly like Hayden. There's a lot of hate around.
Yeah,
Hayden.
there is actual legit hate on
like
him.
that is very different than.
And I think because
him.
he's polarizing. Jet's not that polarizing to me in a sense.
I
if that
agree.
makes sense.
I agree.
Like Jet is impactful, but Hayden, the way, and similar to his dad, kind of the way he carries himself. Like Hayden or Jet very rarely says something that would rub people weird. Like said, almost more how the broad, if anything, I don't think Jet's very rarely has ever said anything that rubs people wrong. It's more how the broadcast again overdoes it.
Yes.
Certain other people overdo it. But Hayden, and not that wrong, but there are certain things he said or certain ways he carries himself. And then on top of him being overhyped, like he has some of the same quality as Jet of why people might be a little against it because of the amount of hype train behind it. But then there's a few things where I'll admit Hayden is polarizing in the way he says stuff or carries himself that then also creates some negative feedback.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the top 5. This week is skills you'd like to learn. MotoXpodShow@gmail.com if you want to get involved with this. Next week's top 5 is going to be pet peeves, things that bother you. We actually just did a question of the week this last weekend. It won't go up for a couple of weeks, but that's one of them. So we got some riders' pet peeves. But this week is skills you'd like to learn. Anybody want to go first? Or I got mine. I got Scotty. You want to do Scotty's real quick?
Go Scotty's.
Let's knock Scotty's out. Be a better mechanic. He just wrote mechanics, but I assume that's what he means.
Is that because of the drain bolt?
Because his bike blew up because he forgot to tighten his drain bolt. That would make sense. Flying. He'd like to learn to fly. Be more artistic. He said he draws terribly. He can't draw at all. Welding or woodwork. And bowling. That one, like he already plays golf, but bowling kind of, like who wants to get better at bowling? Not many people anymore.
I feel like when you go to play, like I don't think about it until I go bowling with somebody,
exactly.
and then I start screaming that I need to learn how to do this, so at least I'm not absolute garbage. But then as soon as I leave,
the fact that he thought about it though made me laugh a little bit. So, Cade, you want to do your 5?
Yeah, I love home projects.
Okay, you mentioned that.
DIY guy over here.
Yeah, I love working on my house. Doing
Property Brothers.
Yeah.
Hey, you know how most riders have vlogs about them racing and training? I feel like you need to do a DIY vlog.
Dude, so you know what's funny
Images.
is when I had to do the OnlyFans page for the MDK deal for Supercross, that's what I posted on there. Was like all summer I was just DIYing. Like I dug the pond at my house, I built a dock, I built this big outdoor shower. Like I did all these cool things at my house. And that's what I was posting on there.
That's funny.
Cool home projects. So with that, I want to learn how to weld.
Yeah.
Like we had to build a starting gate this year, and it was a whole thing because we needed somebody to weld it. And I was like, I kind of want to just do it myself. I love golf. I want to be better at golf. I've shot in the 80s a few times.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'd like to be a little bit better at
Question
golf.
of the week.
Question of the week. I want to learn another language.
Okay.
I failed Spanish twice when I was in school.
I know people that pass Spanish that literally can't remember 2 words from it. So how do you fail it?
Yeah, exactly.
Just didn't care enough at the time.
Like I wasn't a great student when I was in school, so
Shocking.
that's part of it. Yeah, shocking, right? I want to learn to play the ukulele. I have one. It just sits in my closet.
Dude, you need to get that kid that comes out with Moto XXX. He's got an Instagram. He's a little kid and plays punk rock songs on the ukulele. I always say it wrong. At Supercross.
Cool.
Like he shreds on one.
Really?
Yeah, it's cool.
Didn't know that. I'd never go down for
He's like 8.
Thanks. I've got like big fat old man fingers that don't bend.
Yes.
So like I had learned like 2 notes at one point in time. And I'd like to get better at swimming. I can swim.
Okay.
Like,
I would hope.
yeah, like I can swim. I can not drown and I can make it across the pool and whatnot, and like swim underwater. But like I've always wanted to do a try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I'm terrified because I'm such a bad my family has a house on like this. It's a lake, but it's only like a half mile across. And my wife swam across and back, and I couldn't make it across. Dude.
Oh wow!
I couldn't.
There's no doubt that Sarah would kick your butt.
No,
She's bad.
Yeah, she's cool.
That's a good list. Emil, you want to go?
Learning to fly is super high on my list.
Okay.
That's something I absolutely would love to do. Learn kind of vice versa, weird exploring, learning to sail, like sailboat.
My
Those
dad
are
loves
2
doing that,
very
yeah.
high on my list just because it's something I'd love to have as a skill maybe later on life to do. like most people in moto, golf, just because so many of my friends do it, and I wish I could just.
So bad.
Yeah, we are. At least the ball well, you can hit a ball; it just hits houses.
That's fine. There should be a house on the fairway.
Snowboarding. I recently tried. I grew up skiing. Didn't do anything like that for like 15 years. Tried to snowboard the other day, and I have never crashed so much in my life.
Yeah, you went with your girlfriend Teagues, who's hanging out with us.
I threw a temper tantrum like I was 12 years old because I kept I didn't make it off the ski lift. I made it 100 feet and crashed like 30 times because I couldn't figure out how to steer, and I was full temper tantrum like a child. As bad as it went, I do want to learn to snowboard because for a brief second to the bottom, I kind of figured out a couple things. I'm like, oh, this is actually fun. Last one is very broad. It's basically what you're asking, but I just think in general being overall more open to trying things. Just like, I don't know. This is going to sound stupid. Like having broken into my 30s now, I felt like I was getting really bad the last 2 or 3 years about narrowing down what I did. Just like, oh, I do these 4 or 5 things and that's it. Just overall, just learning skills in general, just being super open-minded to anything that comes across my path, whether I even if I wasn't interested in it, I just want to give more things a try just to prove to myself I can do it because me and you talked about this recently. Mm-hmm. I honestly feel like it's helped me riding lately, just not being such a stick in the mud and actually being willing
just
to try
more
new
open-minded.
things. Yep.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say is because my wife loves food, and I love food. I just like eating. Like, it could be in and out, and I'm like, this is a gourmet meal.
It's the best.
But she likes like really like well seasoned, like
the palate.
She
you got to work on your palate.
I'm out, man.
But
just
like I love
steak.
smoking food.
We have some smoked ribs in the house right now.
Yeah.
Ooh, there it is.
Yeah, we should wrap this up.
We're going to go through these segments quickly. Everybody that listens to this knows this time of the show, I'm hungry. We're getting to the end, boys.
Right. Well, I want to get better at,
hungry.
Not really baking, but like grilling, smoking.
Yeah.
Wants to be a man. Yeah. Feather of the grill.
I mean, you go hunting. Yeah, you need to be able to cook.
Well, I can, but like I want to
better.
I want it to be like people want to come eat my food. You know,
you want people to come eat your meat?
Yeah, kind of.
All right, well, let's knock mine out. Guitar, because I'm a metalhead. I would love to be able to shred, but it's never gonna happen. Snow ski, snowboards on my list.
Look at that nigga. He just this whole thing is about things you want to do, and he just instantly shuts
I want
down.
to. It doesn't mean I can. I mean,
not with that fucking attitude.
Because I've taken lessons from my buddy who plays for Madonna and whatnot, and I was like, dude, it's just not going to happen. I don't have any rhythm, like Chiz said. My fingers don't do what they need to do. They just stick together. I guess if I spent years trying, maybe I could, but I'm old, man. I'm 48. I'm not going to figure it out. Snowboard, snow ski, never done either one of those. That'd be cool. Scuba dive. My dad was a Navy SEAL. He also did underwater welding on ships. So like those, but scuba diving would be one. Learn to speak Spanish would be cool. And throw a whip. That's never going to happen on purpose.
Could. I mean, I don't know if you'll land
You've seen my skills. It's never.
I thought Loretta Lynn's was going to be on that list.
He wants to learn how to throw a whip, but he's like, I'll do that quad onto the table at LA, no problem.
I said I would do that for $1 million.
That's right, he did.
And that, to me, it's like, maybe I get hurt, maybe I puncture another lung, but it's $1 million. But then I rewatched it after that, and I was like, yeah, never mind. Yeah. Right? Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Make Loretta Lynn's?
That's definitely a goal. I don't think that's a skill though. That's a goal.
You need some more riding skills.
Yeah, definitely. Funny guy. Anyway, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. Get us your pet peeves for next week. We'll read them on air. Now we're going to do the Evans coolant emails. Evans waterless coolant protects your engine because it always stays liquid. Steam inside the engine creates hot spots and detonation, but with Evans, the metal is always liquid cooled. Used by HRC Honda, Factory Beta, USA, Ampro, Factory Yamaha, and lots of other teams, regardless of the sponsorship. Evans is the bikes on the podium. Evans emails. Let me pull these up real fast. I got a couple on my phone. We'll knock these out so we can go eat. Shane Bagley wanted to know, said something about the new start time. As these are highs and lows. Hang on. Weege can't get in the booth soon enough. Lee is terrible. I miss Daniel Blair. He was so damn good. Race Day Live wasn't too good. Dan and Katie, not a fan. Need more JT. Thoughts, anybody?
I didn't watch Race Day Live.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Weege is amazing. I want Daniel Blair back.
Yes. DB's my guy, so I'm kind of biased. Any thoughts? Did you get to watch it back and listen to all the commentating, or just kind of?
I skipped through it.
Yeah.
I missed DB.
Fair
But
enough.
to be fair,
Weege is great, but I miss DB.
Yeah, I love Weege.
We did this polisher. I want Weege, DB, and then either a mix of James and Ricky or James and Ricky at the same time, back forth, whatever.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like Ricky and I like James, and they like you have to have this like celebrity like person in there that like people can connect to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause-
you want the talent, the person that's done it.
Yeah.
but at the same time, like Daniel and Weege are so good.
I agree.
Like they're so good at
And
the
they're good together the
yeah.
couple times we've had them together.
Oh yeah. I feel like it was a mistake
because they both know the sport so well as an announcer. It's like
What I love with Weege is you have the encyclopedia and you have somebody that does like the broadcast. Like he does all the right things of what you need to say from the color commentator part.
Yeah.
Blair is in the middle. He's done it, but he's great at the announcing and everything. But he also has been close enough to as a racer, and then have the racing talent. And I feel like especially those two together draw the best out of a Ricky or the
Yes.
best out of a James. I think that's
So
I think
funny
that
you
can't
say
be
that.
overstated. And it's no offense to each of them have their own skills, but James and Ricky both at times can get lost. Like somebody maybe doesn't know sports well. I just feel like they don't draw the best out of those two.
Yep.
When you get Blair Weege working off them, I just noticed such a difference of what you get from Ricky and James.
I feel like this weekend James was like running himself thin sometimes. Like he had to he talked so much, and not like a bad way, but like he would almost ramble because he was like trying to talk so much. Like having 3 people in there isn't a bad thing.
No,
I don't
it
think.
helps.
But like I sometimes feel like Lee was in there this weekend, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like Lee can't really connect with what James is saying to like add to it, if that
Correct.
makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
it absolutely
like
does.
Lee is a great announcer. Like he can announce
He's
whatever.
a professional announcer.
Exactly. He can announce anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
But like when we have the option to have someone who I think is equally as good at announcing, maybe not at racquetball. If you put them both at racquetball, like Lee's probably going to be way better. But like at our sport, like Weege is just as good as Lee.
But more passionate about
But
the
more
sport.
passionate
Yep.
about it and can feed off of what the person working with him says.
Yeah, and if James makes a statement about maybe a race he did at some point, Weeds will be like, "Yeah," and he'll be add to it. Where Lee probably is not going to remember that race, even though necessarily know what he's talking about. So I 100% agree. Shane Bagley went on. This was a topic we touched on a little bit ago. For the love of God, someone beat Jet. I'm over it. One thing that particularly pissed me off was when Hunter went down. They showed Jet's reaction to it while racing was going on. I don't give a shit about his reaction. I want to see the racing. Stop the force feeding. We've already touched on that, but Shane, very passionate. Let's see. This is from Steve Hall.
That was his reaction. That was his reaction to the heat race crash.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said the LCQ. I'm sorry.
No, it just when Hunter went down, that's all I
yeah.
said.
Sorry.
Steve Hall says, love your team's work. This is about the show. It keeps me sane as a moto misfit. I was a total judgment guy in your early days, meaning me, and you have turned into inspiration to me as you stick with itness, improving, and damn, you guys work hard. Appreciate that. He went on to say, I'm off-road guy, and much respect to you for doing GNCCs. Okay, we'll skip that one. We'll move on. Moving on.
Oh my God!
I was just
somebody got
reading it.
self-conscious.
Okie dokie. Sorry, man.
You're really good at your job, Darkside.
Yeah. Okay,
You're doing a great job.
Mark
Haven't
Marcizin.
fired you yet.
Hey guys, great work. I'm still dying laughing with all the ways you guys butchered my last name a few weeks ago. Anyway, I thought A1 was amazing. I would like you guys to discuss how strange it is that a 8 or 9 person 250 team like Star Racing would have only 2 guys on West. The field seems depleted already, which is crazy because I expected Joe to win. He struggled in a mediocre field. Any thoughts on? I mean, there's a reason why.
Yeah, just the injury bug bites. It's weird. A lot of other teams made it through pretty unscathed, but you know, you hear rumors. It seems like everybody on Star had some sort of big get off in the last 2 months I've heard of. So I was very much questioning their team coming in at the last minute because at one point, like I said, I had heard huge crash for Smitty. I heard Dax getting hit by a car. I had heard that
That did happen.
That did happen.
Yeah.
So I was just saying that one was bad. I had heard about Romano's shoulder. I think I heard about Smitty or knock himself or some big one. I'd heard about a very early season crash. It seemed like every week I was getting told by somebody, "Hey, I heard X Rider at Star weeded their brains out this week."
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
add that to the list. Let's
Yep.
see which ones make West Coast. It happens.
Yep.
See, I love like kind of what Star is doing, and like Julian is trying to do that with PRMX, like get us
The
all training to get
facility
in and have
yeah.
a place to train and do that. But like Craig, who like is our team guy at the track, he makes sure that like we're not constantly just racing each other. And I don't know like what Star does. Like they've,
and I've heard kind of 50-50 on that, not to point for it, but I've kind of heard that it's a little bit of a stopwatch, like really gnarly intensity, like a lot of expectations put every day on the guys just sending
like
it.
You can't, like in my opinion, again, you can't do that. It is too much, too intense. And someday you're going to show up and you're going to be tired and you're going to drop the front in the whoops and you're going to do a front flip. And it's not going to end well. And you need days that are and again, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But like, it feels like that's what happens there because that's like what their team owner loves. So like, and that again, I'm just saying is my opinion. You can't race you got to work technique. You got to have slow days where you're just working on yourself and the bike and you're just having fun.
By the way, the email that I read that you guys gave me, the ego thing, was not actually from Stephen Hall. I got those mixed up. Stephen Hall said, I witnessed Lewis trying to sneak into the pits via the exit lane and security busted him. That's funny. I'm sure if that actually happened, Lewis is very embarrassed knowing him. I wish he was here to defend himself, but we'll just make fun of him. He's not.
I'm here.
No, yeah, we'll just make fun of him for it if that was the case.
I've pulled every trick in the books to get shortcuts into the pits and now just not deal with people.
Who yelled at you, John?
No, actually, John's never yelled at me. Luckily, no general security. Actually, outdoors is chill. Supercross, though, I've been yelled at for trying.
It's nice because he finally like knows me. What's the other guys? It's John and Chris.
I just know John.
Well, they finally like know my face. And like when I got to the stadium this weekend, I didn't have a parking pass, and I'm like, John, like, do I really have to pay $50 to park? He's like, you didn't get a pass. I'm like, no. He's like, here's a pass. Don't pay $50 to park. I was like,
everybody in media paid our $50.
Dude,
for our
I mean, I guess they were just for the riders. Like,
we were supposed to get them emailed to us or something. It got brought up in the press box, and we didn't. So I don't know if we're getting more pizza future rounds or what.
No, I was really close to dropping $50 to park.
Yeah, we did. A couple more of these. Steve Ponton said, just a quick topic. After every outdoor season that RC and JS7 went undefeated, they went on to win the following Supercross title. Will Jet continue this statistic or make a new one of his own? So we'll just say, does Jet win the championship, Cade?
No.
ML?
My preseason prediction for our show was no.
Yep.
I said most wins. I said Eli wins, so I got to continue with my preseason prediction, right or wrong.
Okay.
What about you, Jamie?
I'm going to say no.
Oh, wow.
No.
Jet
doesn't win the championship. I think Eli wins it. Eli's going to figure it out. I'm not worried about his ninth. I just put up an article today talking about since last 10 years, nobody that's won A1's won the championship, but guys like Cooper, Eli have won the championship after starting 9th or 8th or 7th.
Yeah.
I think people forget how long this season is.
Yep.
I was saying that to somebody on the team the other day. I was like, bro, you got to remember, like, think about what you were doing 6 months ago. Like, that's when the end of Supercross is.
Right.
6 months from
Prime
now.
example for me is we went down to the wire. It felt unbelievable at the time. Chase, Eli, and Cooper to the end last year. I was like, oh, my God, we're going to make it to the end with all three of these healthy. And then within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But, like, take Cooper's situation. Slid out a corner and got clipped by AC. Like, the most random thing could happen to Jet. Out of his – that's the thing. It's not even – people could try to argue that, he's had schedule. It could be totally out of his control. That's why we line up. And lining up another 16 times on Supercross, anything could happen. A bike malfunction, slide on somebody, clips you. A tough block that maybe a rider that is not as kind as Cade doesn't pick up, leaves in a rhythm lane, he clips it. You know, literally there's so much that can happen.
Sure.
That's why we're lining up.
Yep.
And I had this argument. A friend hit me up and was very serious. Like, I got a bunch of buddies that gave me crap because I said, what about Jet perfect season? I asked him, I said, it's statistically possible. Anything can happen. But I'm like, are you championing it? Because there's a reason why nobody's done it in Supercross. The amount of things that can go wrong versus outdoors seems even larger.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, 2 more segments. We're going to go with the Prox highs and lows. Prox is rooted in racing from motocross to off-road and supporting teams such as Ampro Yamaha, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and SLR Honda. They have been supplying quality components for almost 50 years, from complex jobs like an engine rebuild to simple maintenance, including filters, chains, and sprockets. Prox aims to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability, so find Prox at your local dealer or visit prox-usa.com, and search for parts for your bike. Your Prox highs and lows will knock Scotty's out. His highs are, we're back racing, and everyone's hauling ass. Lows, Hunter Lawrence not making the main. Thank you, Cade Clason.
Scotty.
Vince Freezy and the Vince Freezy experience. Those are his. My highs are Cooper Webb's ride and Blue Crew. I really, really love that bike, and I'm looking forward to riding that all year. Thank you, Yamaha. My lows are Carnell's injury, and I'm going to give this one to you, ML. Me rolling my ankle yesterday and dropping your bike in front of everybody at Glen Helen.
I fucking heard about
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
figured I
getting
would
tie downs ready,
Yeah.
and I just hear the loudest thud because he didn't drop my bike with the bar string just straight on the bar end into the ground. I hear this loud thud, and I see him hopping around holding his ankle. I look over, and Chris is debating if he's gonna piss his pants laughing, and he started calling for his EMT fire buddy Dave.
fire
We got
to
another
Dave.
one down. I just turn
So
around.
embarrassing.
I
I
turn
almost-
around for 1 second.
Yeah.
And you're
I know.
down.
Dude, first of all, this is how like self-deprecating I'm willing to be for entertainment. We know about the audio from the Bradshaw crash. This almost went without being discussed, but I brought it up because it's embarrassing, but whatever. Yes, it was so freaking embarrassing.
You were so close. We were right at the end of
Dude,
the day.
it was almost over. Like I rode, I don't know how many motos, no tip
Multiple
overs,
bikes, all good.
just drop your bike in. It was on the hill, like we were parked
it
on a
drops
hill.
it to the
So it dropped it
downside of
far
the hill
away,
and
so it just
falls over it.
boom.
Yeah, surprisingly, nothing's broken. That was the only reason. If you would have broke son, I would have gave you so much shit.
Oh, I know. Everyone's like, was he mad? I was like, no, he was laughing, thankfully.
I actually
I
felt
was
more
mad.
bad for you because it happened. If it just happened in front of me,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have felt as bad for you. But
you
it
would've
happened
still
in front of
unloaded you.
so many people
Jesus.
that I actually felt bad for you because
I
I was
can't win.
legitimately like, wow, he almost made it to the end of
Yeah.
the day without something noteworthy happening.
Almost.
Almost.
Okay, what are your Prox highs and lows?
Highs, I love being back racing. I love being at home and I love being like a home guy, but man, I like traveling. I like racing. So that's my high.
Yep.
The low is I have to stay out here.
Yeah.
I hate being here so
Sure.
much. Like it cost me $66 to fill up a Toyota Camry. It cost me $80 today to ride.
Yeah.
And it's just like I cringe like at some of the things that I have to do while I'm here. I'm not a Cali guy. I'm glad I'm going home after A2. Like, yep, that's definitely my low. That's like my low all year though. Like, I mean, it's not that bad. Like I get to stay at the Yoders. Like his mom's been taking care of me. Like basically I'm him. It's kind of great.
I got the same deal at the Kiefers. Heather's,
yeah.
Heather's taking care of me.
So, but other than that, man, I just, this isn't
And
my, this
when I
isn't my
stay here,
home.
ML's family takes care of me.
I dig it.
Yeah, ML, highs and lows, Prox.
I'm going to sound like such a bah humbug when I get to my lows. But
That's all right.
highs. I'm going to ride my dirt bike a lot. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Bro, you look good.
Come on, man.
Everybody.
Time
I
out.
still have so
Yeah,
much
you are
wind.
ripping, but
Yes.
you just said that's about it. Look,
No.
look to your right, bro.
I know. I have to say
New
this right.
love.
Yes. New girlfriend, riding a dirt bike a lot. Haven't been fired from my job. It's good. Lows. Here's the bah humbug. A1. I wanted more off
Yeah, I
season.
hear you.
And
Oh.
I actually wasn't that excited for A1 for the first time in a long time. I'll be better in a week or two, but yeah, I could have taken a
It
week
could be
or two
worse.
off.
You could be running a race team.
I always, yeah.
Yeah, let's put that on the highs. Another year. It's like being sober almost, like from a drug addiction. Hey, another year away from the race team.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that on the little calendar over here and
Yep.
chalk that off.
That's fair.
Ugh, PTSD just kicked in. Every time I see Julian or any team manager like Jeremy Vermeer this weekend, all them stressed out on Friday running around, I'm like, man, this was me. What the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, dude, it was funny because Jules was so stressed this weekend. Like
bet.
our semi didn't get there until Saturday or until Friday morning because it got stuck in a wrap shop because they couldn't get it done in time. It was a whole thing. So then our semi got to Cali late. It got to the race late. They brought our bikes to press in a box van. Like everyone was stressed out. It was a whole thing, but it all worked. Like it all got done. Like they were building the awning, like building it onto the truck Friday in the pits. Like that's what they did all day Friday was build our awning. 2 mechanics worked on 3 bikes and everybody else built the awning.
Wow. And made the main. Beat Hunter Lawrence.
2 out of 3.
Strain of the 450.
Amazing. All right, last segment of the night. Our
Hunter's
picks.
going to clean me out because of you.
Who is?
Hunter.
Nah, he doesn't listen to this.
Hey, somebody I did like in our comments did say, dare you to walk up to Hunter this weekend, ask if he wants to race for pink slips.
That would be dope, though, dude.
Walk over to Lars, ask him, hey, if I beat him again,
Yeah.
can I ride it for a weekend?
Our picks for San Francisco, just so you know, nobody got the Jet, Jason Anderson, and Sexton last week in our picks. That wasn't even close. Picks for San Francisco, Scotty said first, third, Jet, Roxon, Webb. I'm going Jet, Webb, Kenny. Cade, who you got? Who's your podium?
AP.
I like that.
Jet and Barsha in no order.
Oh, no order. Okay, that's a good podium. Let me write that down.
Okay. If it's
AP,
muddy.
Jet, if it's muddy, Barsha. What you got, ML?
If it's muddy, AP, Barsha, Kenny. If it's not muddy, Jet, Webb, Kenny.
Oh, I knew you were going to say Kenny. Yeah.
All right.
I'm in with Kenny this weekend, mud or not. He looked so good in his heat last weekend.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I agree.
He looks so good. I just the way he is fiery, I think redemption.
Dude,
this
I think
weekend.
if we get a track that like doesn't
So
get super,
ours are the same then. Ours are identical. If it's dry. I didn't make a muddy, not muddy one. I probably should have. That would have been smarter, but whatever.
I think if we get a track that's like not super rough and he can do, because I think he can do that for 20 minutes like
Yeah.
what he did in the heat race.
Yeah.
Like,
Teagues.
I think it'll be
Who's your podium?
beefy.
On the spot. Jet.
Okay. Jet. Kenny.
Barsha.
Barsha. All right. Those are our picks. We want to hear yours for next week for San Diego. MotoXpodshow@gmail.com. Give us your top 5 pet peeves. Any emails you want to send in, procs, highs, and lows. We want to hear from you. We want to thank our presenting sponsors, Racetech and Yamaha Motor USA, as well as X-Brand Goggles, Procs, Guts Racing, FXR, Troll Training, Evans Coolant. We love all our sponsors. Please go support those sponsors. Let them know you're listening to the show. We'll be back with a new show next week. Logan Carnow may be in studio, depending on how he feels after surgery on Friday. Kellen Brower said he'd come in upcoming show. And Lewis Phillips is getting a little actually hurt. His feelings hurt that we keep having other people in besides him. So,
Because I'm better.
yes, absolutely. Cade, you're the man. Thank you for coming in, Cade.
Yeah, thank
It's
you
really
for
an
having
honor
me.
to have you in. But yeah, we're out. We'll hear you guys, talk to you guys next week.